States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, folks, to our work session for next year's budget. There was a lot of work put into this. Obviously, the object is to keep our taxes down and keep our services up, and that's what we definitely intend to do. We have worked with our department heads on this, trying to cut everywhere we can, like I said, again, to keep our quality of life up. There's some good news and some bad news on different things we find here. Grants, of course, help, and well, we'll go from there. The first two pages, Debbie said, just ignore them. We'll move into the
Start with the legislative.
legislative. Everybody get a copy of this, or we have
Public does not receive.
I'm sorry. All right, on the legislative, the Board of Trustees, we have the modified is $42,704, and the proposed is $42,704. On the contractual, we have $11,000 now, and the proposed is $12,000.
So Mike, can I just?
Yeah, absolutely, Debbie,
Just
please,
because I think-
interrupt anytime.
In spite of time, I think we need to be thorough and detailed, but if there's no questions, can we just move on? Is
I
that
agree
okay?
with that,
And
yes.
then, just in contractual, I did not speak to the trustees yet about this, but I added funding to deal with the increase of regular costs of phones and things like that. So that's why you see your number higher on contractual.
Yep, and I apologize to Debbie, because I was just rehearsed this so much and went over it so much, I am going line by line, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have a question.
Sure.
Did we make sure we all have the same copy of the budget to start? Because there are two different copies that we have been looking at.
There shouldn't be two different copies.
There is, when Joe and I were going over it, we didn't have the same one, and when Cynthia and I were going over it, we didn't have the same one. So can we all make sure that we have the same one? The easiest way to check is under the police line, because that's
Oh,
where we
you're
found
talking
it.
the categories?
Yes,
Just so, what happened was, he told, I did on an old version, it didn't carry over to the new, but the numbers did not change. We did not change the figures.
so besides that one thing,
Yes.
we're all looking at the exact same budget. Okay, okay. And then being that this is a work session, do we need to go line by line, or do we assume that we've all looked over it and just start with questions? Or
Ideally, you
discussion?
should start with questions to be productive,
Okay,
because there's things, if you don't have questions, you just keep going.
so is there anything you wanna present, except the line by line, about anything you think we should be changing first as the mayor?
As we move on, I will.
Okay, so who wants to go first?
I'm gonna go through the, through this, the next we'll go to we're going to judicial now, we're moving up to judicial.
So we're gonna go line by line and not have questions?
No, categories.
Okay.
So judicial,
So Tina Fosna was also on her way in. Overall, if you want me to cover her and then you chime in.
Well, she's on her way and we can just skip it until she gets there. I'm great with that.
All right, so let's go to the next one. That's judicial.
Executive,
any questions on that?
We're going, I'm just not clear on the format of the meeting, so we can be,
Well, if you got a question on it, just ask. If we don't have any questions on it, we move on.
do you want us to question right now? Okay, so yes, under executive, under the AO 1210-400 line, contractuals, I think we should reduce that to 3,000.
where are you?
Executive,
I don't see it either.
we should reduce it to 3,000
I agree.
from
I don't see
10,000.
That's not the right number, not the same number.
AO 1210-400, executive contractuals, it's currently listed at 10,000. I would suggest we break it down to 3,000.
Based on what rationale, Brandy? And I'm not
Based-
questioning, I just wanna ask.
Based on the fact that, the mayor has said that he does not need training, doesn't want to go to training, goes to free webinar training, and has used it for discretionary items. If that's the case, then we can use that $7,000 in multiple other ways and keep the budget, the amount the same. We don't have to get rid of it, but we can move that $7,000 somewhere else then.
Okay, I'll explain what I do on that. I do go to training, I do it online. What I did was my money, I gave money to the senior center because they were short on that. I purchased uniforms for the office staff here because it's not mandatory, but I think they should have the option to wear uniforms. What else did I give money to, Debbie? Gave money to the library out of that? And something came out of that, I bought something for the library out of that.
That's not
So I'm explaining what I do with my contractual. So for $10,000, I should have the option of going to training if I want to. In your case, you can go to training, that's up to you. If both of you want to go, I'm not gonna get into an argument about it here. $10,000 is used sparingly.
So right now, there's $5,797.86 left in that line, which means that we're over, and consistently the numbers have been lower. So we are over, estimating, and we shouldn't be doing that with a line that you're not gonna use. If you wanna move that into other items so that you can do things like give it to the library,
This
then
goes
that's
till
fine.
June. You don't know what I'm gonna use between now and June.
Right, but I think what she's trying to say is that that doesn't fit the definition of contractual. You can have a discretionary fund, but you can't use contractual funds to spend on other things. You can't just move around.
It is approved by the board when it was moved. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move money from my line with permission from the board to pay for the roof on the museum or to fire hydrants.
So I guess what would be more efficient was you actually set up a fund for repairs in this case, and then put that money, if you don't wanna use it there, you wanna use it for repairs, then you can still make the discretion on where the repairs are.
I may use it for me
Discussion with you?
What's that?
That wasn't a discussion with you tonight?
to a place where I think is an awful lot of money.
Right,
I
but
would
moving
rather
it
use
from
it for repair.
contractual to repairs isn't okay as far as I know, that's what.
I had asked him if I could do it, and he said, when we were in there in the executive session, and we discussed this, and I can't believe what was said in executive session.
Pick projects that he wants to work on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that, but again, so I'm new to this in terms of what you all do budget-wise, so I'll give you like, I don't know where you started, so you're going through each, this is your
We've
draft
never
budget you
done
have
this.
right now?
None of the people have right, and thoroughly correct me if I'm wrong, this has never really happened. This, we're trying
Work
to,
sessions, yeah.
in front of the public,
Yes, we did.
Yes, we have.
what, the last one was like 10 years ago, right?
Oh, yeah.
No, he was on the floor.
We used to have them right in there.
Yeah, we had one before, because I was in one night,
Can I chime in?
Yeah, sure, and I'll tell you how I
And I'm
see it
gonna
done,
give,
but.
I'm just gonna
that's my
give
two
facts and data, and then from there you guys decide as a board, okay? So right now, the run rate is going from 56 to 59, almost 6,000.
cents. Right.
Historically, you have the trends for the first 4 years are on this page, and it shows how much has been spent previously. What we could do is look at the types of expenses that were spent in those budgets previously, comparison till now. If it's completely different, then we should have a conversation about the discretionary line and the contractual line. I think that might be the best way to go right now, so we could keep going, because we're not probably gonna resolve that right now.
Yeah, and again, high level, just the way, again, most of the time, believe it or not, 30 years legal, we never get involved in any budgets in villages or towns. They never call me for this, in 30 years, first time I've been part of a budget meeting because I've been asked. But I will tell you how it works normally, in my experience, is that either in villages, it's the mayor, the clerk, they'll do a draft budget, right? And what you do is you'll meet with all your department heads. Now, every village, depending on the staffing, depending on population, you're a smaller village, right? Some villages larger than others, but generally two mayor, you Debbie, the clerk, if there's a village administrator, if you don't have one, maybe there's a de facto one, Debbie. So you two basically work on a draft budget, right? You meet with all your department heads, you guys give your wish list, and that's done not in this setting. It's done, you guys do it at Village Hall, you have meetings, and you get a budget together, tentative budget, right? And then, once that happens, you guys meet, okay? It doesn't have to be in a meeting, you guys can meet separately, but again, it can't be as a quorum. You guys can meet, because you're all liaisons to different boards, or different departments, if you will, right? You're supposed to, but that's what usually happens, right? So whatever trustee is the liaison to whatever board, or whatever, let's say the police department, right? they meet, you guys prepare a draft budget. You actually discuss that budget at a public hearing, right? When they set the public hearing on the tentative budget, that's when you discuss it. But between then, when you start doing the prep time to the public hearing, there's changes, there's revisions to it, but it's all done internally, right? So you're meeting with department heads, that's when it's done. It doesn't get to I rarely see workshops done on budgets. I mean, I see public hearings, you're supposed to have them, but, they're usually done in Village Hall, this draft budget's proposed, and you guys, it's a give and take with your department heads. You may propose something, and I point to you because you're like, right, so, no offense, but you'll present something to Debbie and to the mayor and say, you know what, okay, what was your line item for 2025 budget? Okay, tell them, we want to increase it by X percent. You may disagree, you guys go back and forth, and then the next step, once you guys get that draft, then you present to the trustees. Their duty is to revise, ask questions, and modify it, right? But it starts with the mayor and Debbie or your clerk equivalent. They start first and meet with the department heads. That's how they normally do it. When I say normal, in the villages and towns that I've seen. I was out of town today, they were different fiscal year, but that's how they do it, right?
That's how we did it.
Right.
That's how we came.
So I'm just giving you, again, usually village council, we don't get involved in budgets at all, ever. So for me, this is the first because, again, I understand why I'm here, but it's different because that's all done internally, right? I usually show up at the public hearing for the budget, that's different because it's a regular meeting and I'm here for it. But usually this is all done at department head level, at least at this stage.
So we got a preliminary budget
Yeah.
on Friday, and
Okay.
we were able to review it, and I've spoken with 3 of the department heads at length, and we've all done a lot of work, I think. And I
Good,
know
it's
that
supposed to.
Cynthia has gone over it, and I'm sure Stephen has as well, so I think we put a lot of good work in. I think we've done it a lot differently. This is my 3rd year on the board, and this is the first time I've had access to any of this information, so I'm super hopeful and happy and proud of getting to this table, so if we can get through this
That's a good
without.
start.
And we've been doing this,
Issue?
for
Great.
2 months, we've been on this, so.
And again, I apologize for being late, but I just want to give you my overview on, what I've seen in terms of the budget process, what happens internally, what I've seen over the years, so. That's my 2 cents.
So to get back to this topic, are you all comfortable, me putting a notation, 3,000 for contractual, look into what we've done historically, speak with, our CPA to make sure what should be in contractual versus your discretionary for?
Yes, there needs to be a difference.
Okay, you want to start that?
So the mayor should have the same budget as everybody else, even though the mayor's gotta go to a lot of different places all the time. I'm always
Hey,
going
the
someplace.
budget should be fitting. If you have more expenses, then yours should be a little higher. That's the whole point. But the point is, it's not 10, because you're not using 10. So if you're using 5, make it 5, and then the other 5 goes in your discretionary fund to use for the projects you want to work
Well, the
on.
year's not over yet. So we don't know how much I am gonna use.
But she's got, what, 4 years to go by?
The 4 years historical that are here, if you look, which this was never done in the past, we've provided 4 years of actual.
And that'll be good, because Steve went to all this stuff, so it'll be higher than yours would be. So that's gonna bring your number up higher.
Okay.
Right?
So as a next step, you guys are all okay with this? Cynthia, I just wanna make sure you're okay. We don't vote on this, we just see if we're okay. You're okay with me taking that as a takeaway, so you can meet?
Yep, on W3, you've got, thank you.
Yeah, you're not voting. This is
Across
not-
you.
That's what I'm making sure.
You're not you're not voting on anything tonight, this is
We're
just.
we're asking questions and looking for
That's
guidance.
what we're here for, exactly
Yes.
for that.
And that's kind of where we were last year, was we had a lot of things that were lumped into one line that probably should have been 4 or 5.
Right.
And so I think we ended up with a 9 or 15-page budget for the whole village. It's like, it was a little thin.
Right.
So we couldn't really tell what was being spent and how we could possibly be more efficient.
Gotcha.
And that's what we should.
All right, moving on to the auditor. Any questions on that?
It's up to you.
And finance has treasurer buyout twice,
Let me,
but then you don't have one for.
I don't have treasurer buyout.
Don't worry.
Deputy clerk.
Looking at,
are you looking at the first version? You didn't,
Aren't you
you
looking at
probably
this
never
one?
printed the second version that I sent out to everybody.
Set it up to do it.
Yeah. Because Cynthia answered for it and
packet.
itself. No,
I've seen the Excel, but the one that I printed, I only printed the one with
So
all the
that's
documents.
why you're seeing
There you
so
go.
So here.
Thank you.
Oh, it's not the one that's supposed to be used?
No, everybody else is using that one. The one
She's
I
using
used,
the initial
just not the one I
one the whole
printed.
week, which was a PDF on the first page. Lino's office told me, send the PDF what we normally send. I had asked them, are you sure, can we send the Excel? Cynthia also asked, and they said, they looked into it, they said yes, so I sent the Excel. When I sent the Excel, I added some columns to give you commentary, year-over-year growth as well. So you should have that, and that's the one that went out, that everybody got. Okay,
Thank you.
We're on finance?
no, we skipped auditor, and then we have to go back to Tina
We'll
Foster.
go back to the judicial.
Should we go back?
Oh,
Judicial.
You know, it was late.
Judicial.
Yeah, I was thinking.
it's an attorney.
Any questions on
Two
judicial?
excellent things.
Okay,
Judicial.
okay. Basically, our budget, we're not asking for any increases, we're just asking to shift the lines around. So we will leave it exactly the same as we had last year. And I understand that my current expenses may not reach, like, I may have a little bit of cushion in my budget, but based on what happened last year, God forbid something happens and I lose my clerk and I need to replace her with somebody, or if she's gonna become full-time, I can't go based on, what I'm currently doing. I need to be prepared, so I'm not in the same position I was in if I need to find a full-time clerk. So I'm not asking for any increases, I am asking to shift some of the monies around so that I can keep, the one girl that comes, the one clerk that comes in part-time that helps with traffic court, I think it's 3 hours a month. And then we have, the clerk that was helping us out part-time. She's kind of on the back burner. She might come in a couple hours a month, but in case something happens, if Valerie needs to take time off or vacations, we don't want to have to close the court. If Sarah can come in, she's going to come in and cover those hours so that we can maintain the court to be open, without any lapses in service. So we would be able to do that if we can keep the budget as is.
That's how it's outlined in the packet you gave, but that's not how it's reflected in the budget.
So I didn't see the last step was that came out, so.
Are you referring to the first line?
Yeah.
Judicial? Okay, yeah, Tina, you'll see how, like, for us, like, the first line, it says increase like 13%. But I think if you look at the second line where the overtime is decreased, that makes up the difference. So the total is only 0.8% that we're talking about increasing.
Yeah,
The
even
entire
that, I
budget.
didn't even think that we were increasing at all, based on the numbers I was going through with Valerie.
So the overall budget doesn't increase. What she
Right.
did was she took from her overtime budget to put it towards her salary, so she's self-funding that.
Mm-hmm.
And then she has clerical part-timers, which remain flat. There's 2 people, Sarah and Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
And then the associate justice, she increased it by 3%. I'm not gonna name names today,
No,
that's
that's
okay. I prefer not to.
I was just referring to like line item numbers, so
Yep.
that it wasn't.
The clerk to the village justice is, someone who's sitting in the room, and that was the previous funding that was given. However, she's a little bit under that, but we also have to consider she's part-time, reduced hours. When she moves to full-time permanent, then you also have to pay the fire, which will be self-funded, just so you know. The equipment is flat, and the contractual is flat.
You good?
Well, they don't have credits, so
Move to finance? We did that?
Is everybody ready to move to
I'll
finance?
put a pin in that for later. I don't have a question about the total, I just have a question about the sum of the parts, but it's not an issue.
I'm
Yeah, I
not-
had this, I think I know what you're talking about, Randy, because I had the same question,
Yeah.
but then,
Ask the
was
question.
looking, no, it was in my spreadsheet, so now I know where I saw it from, so,
Okay.
that's great.
On
Thank you,
the
Tina.
finance side, it's very hard to compare year-over-year growth on people where the money is split. So what I did for you guys, you have a separate spreadsheet that when I gave you all the details, how much is coming out of A-line, water and sewer, to make up the total. That's why you might see percentages are different. On the treasurer, overall, everybody's at 6% with the exception of the request on the deputy treasurer, which my understanding, Heather sent you guys individual or a group note, I was not copied on it. So that's a conversation that you have to have during an executive session, just so you know.
Let me go a little further here. I've said this before and I'll continue to say it. Our employees are underpaid. It's without a doubt, they are underpaid compared to surrounding municipalities. And we have very good employees here, and I don't want to lose them. I don't want them to go other places. I work with a municipality that we train people for other jobs because they eventually transferred out where the money was, where it was. I proposed buyouts, medical buyouts. Medical buyouts are, for the Empire plan, the cost for a family of, it was just a family plan, is $40,000 last year. This year it's $43,000. I proposed a buyout. I started out with a high number to work it down. I proposed $20,000 as a buyout. Of course, we know it wasn't going to go $20,000, but it's just like this. If you get a family plan and it's costing the village $43,000 and your spouse has a family plan, you might as well go there. And if we give you $20,000, we're saving $23,000. How do I know this? I was the contract negotiator on my job for many years. I was the union president. So I understand how it works and I understand how municipality saves money on that. Now $20,000 again is a high figure, but you're still saving money. So we have to look and we have to be very careful. If we give XYZ department this, then the other department may not have the same kind of buyout. We might wind up in the red. So then we drop it down to maybe 10,000, 5,000. We don't know, but these are all feelers that we got out there to see. The one thing we need to know that is if a person here takes the buyout, we have to make sure that the spouse has medical insurance, because if, God forbid, something happens, we don't want to be responsible for them having it. Even though they're grown people and they sign it, we could fall into some sort of mess. So that's a big thing here with medical buyout. We'll see how it works. I know it worked where I was. It saved the municipality
I have a question.
lots of money. So that, but then again, I want to mention that we have very low-paid employees and very, very good employees. So we need to retain them. Yes.
So it's on the report, Debbie, in italics, and it says currently at 2,500. Where was that previously in previous?
So,
Because if it's a new line, it's in italicized.
we have it in italics for the reason of, we looked last year to see, and it was always in the payroll line. That was one of the reasons why you had to readjust payroll at the end of the year. I'm recommending that we keep it at a separate line item under each of the individuals who receive a buyout. Or we get a whole one line with all the buyouts in one budget, like we do with the medical. So Ron is gonna give us the best method to do that, but what I was trying to show you here is, for the people here in the village hall who have the buyout, it's currently 2,500. It will go up to 5,000 if it's approved.
So I think we should be starting with a COLA of 2.8 and then working our way up. I don't think that it should start at a 6. And adding buyouts at this juncture, you're just inadvertently asking, they've already been getting the 2,500 and you're asking to do that in a budget talk. It seems like this should have been a discussion way before that. Like, it could be something that we discuss further, like Mike said, it's a way to talk about total compensation plans, but if we're really trying to trim the budget and not put the burden on the taxpayers, I think, like you said, we should be looking at 2.8 COLA to begin with the budgets and work from there, and if we're gonna add lines, it should be highlighted for discussion, not just automatically added, but that's me.
Well, we're not automatically adding this.
This is
We're
too much.
actually-
It is in the thing, yeah.
No, it's
I didn't hear
all- it's all
anything about
six
it. The
across
only
the
time
board.
I've never
Yeah,
seen,
4 and 6.
yes, last year's budget didn't have the buyouts on it, so this is new to us in this budget.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
I
saying.
just thought 6 across the board, we're in a position we're at right now. We need to
Yeah.
slow that roll a little bit.
Yeah, so can we start with just the 2.8 and then work from there, instead of starting with the 6?
That's a decision for you guys. I just took direction.
Well, that's fine.
I'd like to get a bigger picture of the budget before we put 6 across the board. Get where are we? And before we start handing out raises, maybe we should see the position that we're in first, and then we can increase
Of
it.
course we're gonna do that. Of course we're gonna do that.
Well, I just saw it was 6 across the board. Well, everybody was getting 6, but Yeah, it was.
It was put, it was,
That's what's reflected in what we're looking at today.
oh, hold on, I'm the one who inputs only. Normally what happens, and you guys should chime in here, is historically, the board has said whatever the DPW gets is what the village hall staff gets. Last year was an anomaly because we had a lot of change and movement. This is not my recommendation.
I'm not,
This is-
that's
I
not
just
what
wanna
I'm
make sure.
asking.
No, hold on, I just wanna make sure
I
it's clear.
just wanna clarify that this is what we're looking at right now.
It's
includes
6
a
across the board,
6%
you're
across the
absolutely
board. That's it. I don't, it's not about who, what, where, when, why, now.
But the conversation is with you guys. That's
I
what
wanna
I'm
add
saying.
that last year, I pretty much told you you had to take a raise because you and the deputy mayor and the treasurer, the deputy treasurer didn't wanna take raises. And that's wrong. That's wrong.
I appreciate the double-digit tax bill we had to give out, that people were not wanting to do that. I appreciate it.
It also should be noted that both the DPW and the PD contracts expire on May 31st.
Yes.
So what Jake is asking for is not based on any contract that has been negotiated, and it was
Jake's
4%
employees.
in the last, Jake's employees, because it doesn't include you.
Yeah,
But your contract states that you also get the same increase
at least,
as
yeah,
the,
that
the
they get.
DPW. And so that has not been negotiated yet, and the increase for this last budget season was 4%.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
Thank you.
All right.
I just, that's what they asked for, so that's what I did all my numbers on. I rather, you know, obviously it's not gonna go any higher, so if the negotiations go lower, then that's obviously better.
Exactly. If
So-
it's low, if you negotiate it lower, if the board votes to go lower, it goes lower. Again, I have to acknowledge that my employees here in this village are underpaid. And
So-
they could leave and they can go to somewhere else and then we have to retrain and we have to start all over again.
I would like to see this,
Just give me a second, let me finish. I've lived through this scenario and I don't wanna lose these people.
we heard and understood, thank you. It's duly noted. I would like to see, after everything else that we agree on today, what the budget looks like with a 2.8 across the board.
See what the difference would be.
I would also like to backtrack just for one statement to the auditor line.
We didn't go there, actually.
Okay,
We
as
never.
long as we
talked
circle
about
back.
it. I have it
I
as
hold it.
noted, because I
Thank
have
you.
to talk about it as well.
Okay,
So I just wanna recap, so I have my takeaways. I'm gonna put everybody at 2.8 across the board. Do you guys want me to do that for PD and for DPW as well, or just village staff and?
We won't have control over
Everyone.
that contract.
Well, the contract is the PBA union contract, however, for in my case, it'd be Stephanie and Ann. They are
And staff.
village employees, they're not under the union contract.
So just staff?
Yes.
Okay. And then in terms of the 2,500 to 5,000 was another takeaway.
Yeah, you can put it, if we're gonna make a line so the buyout is not under payroll when it's there, please put it at what it's currently at. And then we can have discussions around that.
can you also add to, not immediately, but can we seek guidance on what the best way to break it out is? Because I do appreciate that it's been broken out. I don't know that we need it broken out 32 times, but somewhere between
No.
0 and 32, what are we supposed to do?
That's
there?
exactly what I said earlier.
I appreciate
But
it.
I think,
Yeah, yes.
no, I think it should be one line, kinda like that we do the medical. Right
Okay.
now, medical is under one
That
line.
makes sense.
Yeah, because we can
It'll
always
be
get a
like a
printout of
subset
who
of
it is,
medical.
yeah, but I appreciate it.
Mhm.
Thank you.
I did that for a call out, so you guys
Yeah.
are aware.
I appreciate that. And thank you, Darlene, for pointing that out, because I would have looked at the other copy the entire time and been confused. Thank you. I didn't like to see what you.
Now, going back, because we didn't finish finance yet, I know that the Edmonds contract is going up. We put a 14.5% increase for now. That's usually, almost all the vendors are having 14 and up. And then in terms of that last item, we always get that question, what is that? That's actually a $70 fee to file the AFR. If we go back up to the auditor, he's CPA. Last year I had requested 7,500 because we were tight on budget, but we're already, run rate is higher than that. So that's why I'm very concerned. We're gonna continue to use it. You guys wanna get into more details of the budget, we're gonna need a CPA more of his time so we can go through that. So if you wanna keep it at 9, if you wanna lower it, I think the lowest I could probably go without feeling the constraint is 8,500, to be honest with you. Just letting you know, but we have time. We're gonna have more questions throughout the year, you know?
Yeah.
Also, if, I don't wanna be out of place, because it's not my role to say this, but I don't know if it was said when I went out to open the door. When there's a negotiation of contracts, did anybody talk about how you have to budget for the future, and then you have to adjust? You guys spoke about that?
No, we haven't.
We spoke to each other about it.
Can someone bring that up, because I don't think it's my place to bring that up, but I think that's an overarching question that has to be addressed. And if that happens, we will need the CPA to do extra work for us,
Right.
so.
Understood. Yes, I think we should address that before we leave tonight. I think we should get a little bit farther before we get into that. I don't wanna act like we're having a private conversation, but two other notes there are, we don't need to get rid of admins, but over the course of this year, and I'm not suggesting we lower it, let's look at some comparable services. And then I also think, I wouldn't argue, my personal opinion is I wouldn't argue or try to, lower that line, but I do think we should do a request for letters of interest for other CPAs and see who's offering what services for what amount.
Like I've said in the past, I think we need a village manager. That's my own opinion on this thing. This should not be for 5 people here to negotiate a budget of almost $8 million. We need, in my opinion, again, we need somebody down here who runs this, who's not politically connected with anything. Thank you very much. I don't give you the mayor, the trustee, this is what we need. That's when people say we can't afford it, I say to them, can we afford not to have one? Again, my own opinion, so, on something like that. With the idea with the buyouts, that was gonna, my hope was that would offshoot any raises coming up from that. Saving the money on that end there. Also negotiating contracts, I've negotiated several contracts with just a union when I was an administrator. And we saved money with the attorneys, a lot of money. We negotiated the contracts as long as possible because that's how you can predict the budget. And if you were to go to PERB or drag something out, you have to pay to go to PERB, you have to pay, PERB being Public Employees Relations, you have to pay for that, and you have to pay for the attorney, and you have to pay back pay if everything you was. And you also lower morale. Morale's a big thing too, so. All right, moving on, please.
So the next section is clerk, that's my area. Don't worry, I won't take anything personal. Last year, we had 3 people under the clerk, and there was a lot of movement between the clerk budget. It was around $90,000. It included a deputy, part-time clerk, a full-time clerk, and then it also included a per diem. So the year over year is gonna look weird, but you guys have everything in your packages that shows a 6%. I could easily just change that to 2.8? 2.8 COLA, that's fine. I can do that for you guys. It'll go across the board, but that's something that I think you guys need to have a little bit of conversation about. The one individual that you pointed out, or I didn't point it out, someone else did, but I think.
Understood, and
Okay.
agreed in executive session, and it's on my note,
Okay.
100%.
And then in terms of, there's one individual who gets registrar fees. I do not do the death certificates. I'm too busy. I'm doing New York Forward and everything else. There's no way I could do it, so I've given that to someone else. They earn it, and I'm gonna say a comment for both building inspector and anybody who does registrars. They will be getting paid checks.
There you go.
So that's been resolved. I've looked into it, got the IRS thing, like I told you and promised you, those are corrected. So they get that additional, that's quarterly. For the other person, it's monthly, but it'll be on the payroll lines. We'll get into that
It's
later.
not a stipend, it's not a 1099, it's in a W-2.
Perfect.
So there's also an italicized line for deputy clerk in the water sewer, which I know there always was, but it looks like a new one, so when we get there, could you?
No, because what happened was, it's not a new one, it was that last year, that it had changed with all the things, that's why you can't compare. But look at the sheet that I gave you that's separate to this,
Mhm.
that will show you 6% across the board and the breakdown of the ratios between A-line, water, and
Yes,
sewer.
I saw that and appreciate that, so because
It'll be
you do
adjusted
certain,
with the 2.8.
everybody does certain amounts of work and it's correlated in
To
that,
the work,
yes,
exactly.
thank you.
I probably do the least amount of work on water and sewer now, where historically I did a lot more.
So is it italicized because the change in value coming out of that fund? Okay, thank you.
You got it. I like to italicize to point things out that are a little different and give you the clarity. So in terms of salaries, you got those details, the equipment line, right now, we have 4,000, that's the part of the server, that was gonna be a project for April and May. So I kept it in there because next year, one of the things we have to consider is how can we upgrade some of our screens and computers in the office? You have no idea what we go through.
I'm sorry, Debbie, how you gonna, what comes in the office?
There's the computers in our office.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So I wanna try to get grants, I've already started talking to Anna about grants for the computer screens.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna happen till the second half of next year, like way after, so I'm gonna try to budget a little bit. Can I go down next year from 4,000? Potentially I could go down to 2,000, but I don't wanna give any more than that. In terms of the contractual, and that was related to, what
We
happened?
might be able to get that under that efficiency grant that would.
That's fine, but right now I'm willing to go down 2,000, for that, just in case I could cover. So we can have 2 screens in some cases and things like that. In terms of the contractual, that's another area that I could probably, historically, you'll see the run rate's been a little bit around anywhere from 8 to 11,000. Our budget is 11,000. Can I be tight there? Yes, because I can use shared services. So if I wanna go down a little bit on that one, I think I could go down probably 9,000, by 2,000, so it's 9,500.
I would prefer that we don't use any more in shared services. And Joe and I talked about this in circles, I think it was me and you, not Jake and I, about the right amount of shared services and the accounting that goes into it, or separating, like how much separating it out is too much and how much should be shared services and pool it all into one.
So the recommendation that Ron has given us, we should pull more things into shared services, like the phones, utilities, and something else. The biggest issue we have, insurance, yes, that's one of them as well. The other issue that we have is with water and sewer. Water and sewer have to be a separate entity, so that's the area that we cannot put in shared services. That's a rule.
But we need the accounting in the background that we did not have
Correct.
previously, if
Correct.
we're going to pool it into shared
Which
services.
is why I didn't want my in the audit. You know I was getting money,
So then if you could, if your year over year and your, year to dates are showing that you can take 15, why do we not put a pin in 1,500 out of, you said 2, but if you can comfortably take 1,500 out of that budget, why would you not put it into the auditor then?
No, I can. Well,
Yeah.
the way things work is, we're not moving money this year. This is the budgeting, so I'll lower here, the auditor just stays higher. We're not moving. If it was this year, then I would be moving. So we're not moving from my budget now to there.
Okay.
Now, if I need more money this year, that's where it's
Yeah.
coming
Okay.
from. Okay? So then if you,
June, that's right.
can we go to law? Mike, are you okay if I keep going?
No, I'm okay with it, Debbie, I'm okay with it.
If you need to stop me, stop me.
No, it's,
Okay.
we're not went over this many times, go ahead.
Okay, law. So right now, there's 3 law lines. One is contractual, and that is like if we hire someone who's an external lawyer outside of what we have, or it could be now that we have a new firm, Lino, we can leverage Lino's firm for anything special.
You know, squirming in the seat right now.
It's just gonna be higher. Make it up.
Matter of fact, I might cut what I recommended.
I know,
So, right now.
mine's easy, make it higher, that's all.
So historically, we've used that money to cover the overruns from the previous law firms. This year, our run rate is about 116. We have 15,000 in traffic court. Our run rate has gone up. Right now, we're running at 11,855. I don't recommend cutting that just yet on traffic court. Is Tina still here? Tina, do you foresee that there'll be more need for a lawyer or the cost of the replacement? And I don't want to mention it. The cost of replacement will go higher.
So, my suggestion would not be, like, not to decrease the traffic. We had seen less tickets coming out of the village, but there is a build-up now. We're starting to get more, we're actually getting more from the state police, the town. So not only, you know, and now we're also seeing an uptick in the police, in the tickets that we're getting from the village police officers. So, obviously, there's been a lot of income from, with the backlog that we're finally, trying to get through. I think we're there. We're also seeing some success with the judgments that we're reaching out and sending to people who haven't paid over the years.
So we did go back as far as 2018. So anything that hasn't been paid from 2018 forward, we did judgments on, and we are getting paid on some of them. So we are seeing an increase in that. The backlog is up to date now. We do not have any more. The revenue has tripled the last 3 months. It should stay higher, because like she said, we are seeing an increase in the tickets from state police, the sheriff's department, and with the village's new system, they are starting to increase as well.
But I wanna chime in here, one thing, your backlog was so significant,
It
when
was.
we go to the
Just gonna
revenues,
say.
when we go to the revenues, you cannot assume that we're gonna get that next year.
We're not going by
She's-
the numbers.
I would
She's
like-
done such a great job, we're not gonna get that money again.
No, you're not. You're not going with that
I
backlog.
would like to add that I was with Valerie, she showed me all she did, the revenue and coming back. However, we do not run the budget on tickets. I want to make sure that if summonses come in, tickets come in and stuff, I mean, that happens, but justice is blind, and we obviously do not find people guilty.
I haven't
just to pay
noticed
the
much
bills.
speeding.
We do not find people guilty just to pay the bills, so.
No, absolutely not, but there has been, accountability. There's been more accountability recently, especially, you know.
Right, and
with
again,
all of
with
the
Valerie,
different
just going back to 2018, and didn't you get comments like, oh, when you're trying to collect down pay for the fire hydrants, you got
I have gotten some good
like that?
comments. I have gotten some good comments.
So I thank you very much.
Hold on, Lino.
Just a question, the village prosecutor, is that in the contractual line for legal?
Which one?
Your village prosecutor, because we do prosecute, but we do the village,
Yes,
so it's
that's built in there.
not, that's both in there for
So one
signature.
of the things I had put in, so the cost of legal has gone up, the run rates have gone up significantly. Historically, I've been a little, I'm gonna say the word, don't take it wrong, anal about not increasing that budget, because we have been able to cover that expense. But this year, I do recommend we increase that budget, and we'll probably, you know, I'll go into, we used to cover it from engineering, right? Now engineering's check.
Short on engineering.
Yeah, you
So
don't do that.
I wanna
Yeah.
talk about that, but right now I don't recommend going lower than 115. Even though it looks like the run rate's higher, I mean, just a little lower, I do recommend we stay at 115. But that's a decision I can make.
That's why I just wanted to make sure the village prosecutor was covered in that contractual amount, that's all.
So the prosecutor for traffic
Yeah,
is
yeah.
under traffic. The ordinances are under here,
Got it,
okay?
thank you.
It's not, no.
Thanks, Debbie. Moving on to engineering.
So in engineering, one of the things out,
I'm sorry?
Who is the village prosecutor?
not
Well,
announced.
He actually,
not announced,
yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
okay.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do
We
that.
got
but I
like
said
step down.
that.
I was gonna ask you that.
Talk to you.
Oh, so crazy.
Moving on
But
to
I know,
the,
just one more note, I know that previously, especially during COVID, I think the attorney expenses, right now, I think they're kind of level. They were a lot higher because we tried to implement the plea by mail, which I was like, oh my goodness.
It was possible.
So, we in turn, instead of doing the plea by mails, we've been setting up like 2 court dates a month, trying to get in as many people as possible, and trying, you know, just to clear up everything. So we're not doing, we will do a plea by mail, but only under select circumstances, if the person's out of state, some in military, you know, like, just depending on what the situation is. We've had different situations that we've tried to work with the defendants to make it easier for them so that they can clear things up, but we are definitely staying as far away from the plea by mails that we had to do, just to, you know, just to get through COVID, so.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. So going up to engineering now?
So engineer, the story behind that is, our run rate is way below the 90,000. Well, not way below, but it's below. One of the things that we have to consider, which we don't have funding for, we're going into contract stage with New York Ford for both the small project fund and the larger projects where we have to pay up front and then we have to wait for reimbursement. We will be putting lines up in the revenue and expense lines for both the small project fund as well as the larger projects. But right now, we don't have those numbers yet, so it'll be like a placeholder when it comes in. In the meantime, I would keep that there. The minute we have that line, I would suggest moving probably 15,000 from that line to the New York forward expense line. But that's a decision to be made later.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Dan.
thank you for putting that note in there, Debbie.
Yep.
Moving on to elections.
Elections, we don't have an election this year, that's why you see 0. Next year we do. The average election cost has gone up. They haven't given me the details, but what we've done historically is budget 3,000 in each line. Can it go down? I don't know yet. They haven't given me the details. I haven't gone to the Board of Elections to get that.
I would like to see an estimate of what we would be charged for the county to run the elections. I think that what it cost us in our sense of community and our productivity and the morale here in the last 4 years, at least that I've been paying attention, is you can't put a value on it, and I don't wanna see it happen again.
So good news, bad news, I've already reached out. The good news is, I reached out. The bad news is, they will not do our elections until we move our election calendar to reflect New York State.
Even year, or move it to June or November?
November.
Can't be June.
Nothing's done. I already asked and I got that answer recently.
Mhm.
She said no way.
November or March.
And I tried
And why
to,
are we not
Yeah.
discussing the option?
What do you mean?
Like, and we're not willing to discuss the option as a board, or?
To move the election to June?
No.
No, it won't be June.
Yeah, no, okay.
November, this
You can't do that.
November?
November, you could, yeah, that's an option, that's up to you all.
That's a conversation probably for,
How much does it save to not run the election?
Financially,
it's about the
Not
same
a
thing,
ton,
still have
but-
to pay them.
Right. That's all.
it's the productivity.
I know that we had asked a while back, and it was almost a wash, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's more productivity, and we all wanted it. I looked into it because I wanted it, because it coincides with this time frame, and.
Gotcha.
So I think that's,
We're a small municipality. There is no way, even in the best of circumstances, that does not affect everyone in a way that costs us in productivity and morale.
it affects the clerk and the deputy clerk, that's
well,
it.
what I'm annoyed about, and we obviously can't change this, is early election, early voting takes over the senior center for 10 days.
Yeah.
Now, why can't it go somewhere else? Why do we always have to be the one who
If
takes this?
the county runs it, will they do it still here?
Yeah,
So
because
We're
New
a
York
county,
State,
please.
so New York State, I don't wanna off track too much, but I'll answer you guys, because I looked into that too.
Well, my point was, why can't it be someplace else? Why can't it be?
So they have to go to all the different places, visit it, sanction it, and it takes 3 to 5 years to get that done, they told me. So that's why we're stuck, and they weren't willing to do it this year because of all the changes that are going on with moving people to the November elections. And we asked them to rethink that next year, probably, but
Yeah, it's not fair.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think it's something we should get.
so that's what's happening. I suggest if you wanna
Should
talk
have
about a
a vote.
November election, that's an executive session conversation.
All right, next on, the Board of Ethics.
Board of Ethics is flat. Right now, we don't have funding for the Board of Ethics. I'm training. It's something you guys can think about, but I didn't put everyone in there. They had like 300 in the past.
Thank you. Shared services?
So I think everything here is pretty much flat. Personnel is within the first line. That's the cleaner, the painter, other service worker. Jake, this is the next one is your line. I could talk about some of the others, but everything we kept flat.
That's, for a guy come in and clean and set up the senior center on weekends.
Any questions?
So, why is that on this budget? And not on,
Shared services because it affects all different, buildings.
oh, he doesn't just do the senior center?
No, there's a cleaner. Oh, you're saying why isn't the cleaner paid overtime in the senior center?
Thank you.
You could do that if you want, but.
Well, that'd be more appropriate, that's where,
I think we need to consider changing the shared services equipment line, either the dollar amount in it or what we're using it for. because we don't spend it. The last,
3 years.
yeah, 2021 was the
I was
last
just gonna
expense
say.
that was pulled out of there.
I know that. So,
Yeah,
So,
consider,
there might be a more appropriate place to put that money where we use it.
$6,000 is not nothing, we have $0 spent in it, so where can we spend that money better?
on the contractual line for shared services, that is a combination of all the different fees of, phone services. My mind just went blank, I'm sorry. The phone
Phones,
services,
internet.
paper, internet, things like that.
Okay, state property. Okay.
The supplies, that's an area that we've been concentrating on reducing. For supplies on shared services, this is a lot of the paper, the things that we buy for all the other areas, they need support from us. So can we reduce that potentially by maybe $2,000 to $3,000, not more than that?
Shared services, so no one's paying for separate Post-its or pens or paper clips, you're ordering it separately, or you're all ordering it through you?
That's a question for them. We have orders, and I know we place orders, whether they allocate it to their lines or
We
not.
probably just take it out of our line, yes.
We have our own, for stuff like that, we have our own.
So then what are we sharing?
So why don't we put it together, that's our question.
That would make sense.
Yeah,
I'm all for combining a bunch of lines there, like I said,
Okay.
we talked about utilities, insurance.
So then I would suggest that we get into a little bit more nitty gritty with you guys,
Yeah.
find out how much you're spending there, and then find out if they're 18 and up before we reduce it.
The other thing about shared service, it gives you better oversight of it.
Which line was it about, this was supplies?
Yeah.
yeah.
411? Thank you. On utilities, that's Central Hudson predominantly, we have been running lower than that. I know we locked in a rate here in
Yes, for 2 years, I think.
and this year's the last year, so I kinda kept the flat, cause we don't know where it's gonna go until they come in to you guys.
I can imagine it's only gonna go higher.
And I know my bill is really bad. I'm never home. And then repairs on building, that's like an emergency fund that, it's not an emergency fund, I don't wanna say that and then it goes to the paper saying I said emergency fund. It's more, God forbid, I'll give an example. You know, the warning thing came
Yeah.
down the other day, the soffit, so that's repair to the building will be there, something like that. Okay?
Right, but
If you have questions on that?
sometimes we use it, sometimes we don't.
That's correct.
And right now, we are at,
Yep.
this is so small.
That doesn't fall under the, under the DPW, because I mean, is it repair to all village buildings?
No,
Like,
it's
the-
literally storage
This
shed.
like all
It's-
buildings that we own?
All buildings
could
with
be
the,
all.
with the exception
Sorry,
of theirs. But if their building repairs are needed and they need more money, we can move that money.
But there's multiple,
That's what I just said,
yeah, so we can move that from one department to the other from that line to a different line.
When you need
Mhm.
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
I just would like to see a plan, that's what Jake and I discussed at length last night, I'm sure he loved that dog.
Mind it one day.
If we can't bring it down because we have a plan, then that's a totally different discussion.
So this year, liability insurance was 107, that included cybersecurity and the library insurance that we pay along with our own insurance.
Yeah, next page.
Each team gets an insurance line. This insurance for the overall village, not including PD or DPW. But I split out those two amounts just so you know that was a part of it.
So we've always paid, 1910-430.
What are you saying?
The line, 1910-430.
Yes, we've always paid that. And those two amounts is what we paid this year. I could go back and look at the historical and they go up, and insurance is out of control everywhere, as everyone knows. So right now, some people told me from the, what is that called? When you look at the categories of commodities, and you look online to see where things are ranging, the increases are anywhere from 15 to 25%. I'm kind of lowballing here and hoping they stay within 15. We've been able to keep them there. I am talking to another vendor besides who we
Do we
have.
get the lost runs or no?
I have to check, I've been so busy doing everything, so. Yeah.
We have one that we met at,
Reese,
no.
send me the name, because I'll talk to them.
So right now, I'm keeping it at 15% for all three items. If you notice, they're all the same line. I just wanted to show you that we pay for cybersecurity and library.
So why did you choose to break the library out?
Because this is separate amounts outside of us.
Are there any other separate amounts in that library insurance besides cybersecurity and library?
And that, no, that's the overall insurance that pertains to this area. Then the municipal dues I kept flat. The municipal dues don't tend to go up that often. Plus, right now, I think we were at a 3,400 run rate. I didn't have it at 3,600 run rate. But I kept it flat, trying to avoid increases. Judgment and claim, this is, I don't know if you guys remember, this is where we had to do a motion and a resolution that there's two entities in the village that we were paying taxes on. Starting next year, we won't pay taxes, but this year we still will. That's why I kept it at 346. Payroll fees, right now, payroll fees are going up. We haven't gotten the details, but we were notified that we will. We don't think it's gonna go up that significantly from our run rate, so we're keeping it flat.
And that's paycheck.
Correct. MTA commuter tax, good news, they stopped taxing us. So that's a zero line.
Yeah, so there's a.
Contingency. So this, anytime we've had a conversation with you guys, Debbie, do we have a contingency fund? I said a very small one, that's the 30,000. So you would never touch it, we avoid using it. I think they used $200 out to pay the judgment and fees, and we have moved that money, but. And then videographer, got his earphones on. Starting June 1st, the live stream goes up from 250 to 3, everything else stays flat with the cost.
And that's just regular cost, not a change in service, just an increase in
It's
cost.
an increase in cost, but also we're foreseeing that we'll probably start using some of that the following year, not the first part of the fiscal year, but probably the second part, once the contract goes. I'm gonna pass it over to Joe.
Please,
So let's do this.
Yeah.
So we've all talked in, like, to a certain extent about certain different things. I mean, I'm not gonna tend to foot around here, obviously the budget's going up a lot. The one thing that we all discussed is cutting a certain amount out of the overtime, we're gonna cut 45,000 out of that. And a 5,000 from what is a new line, which is gonna be the training budget, so we'll just have 20,000 in that instead of the 25.
45 from the overtime?
45 is coming out of the overtime,
And 5.
and then 5 is from the. And if you guys wanna go to the presentation, little worksheet I sent you guys, we can go through each one, I can break down everything that's in each one.
I know,
I don't know what it's doing.
no, it's alright, and I remember it, it wasn't that long ago.
They're a share.
Yeah, we can share.
Hey Joe, which line? So first line was taking 45 out, and then what was the other one you said?
Then that's gonna be, it's the new one, it says PBA training on the new sheet. It's down,
Oh, 103? No,
yeah,
that's
it's the one with 3 question mark on.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Alright, so if we go through line by line here, if you guys are on the first page, point 1, the personal services. If there's any questions, obviously, is asking out. Overtime, includes all overtime, or full-time, part-time, a holiday pay for those holidays, and it did include the events, but that's okay. Any questions on that? Alright, so personal services, this is obviously the biggest increase, as it's where most of our budget is. It's just all sworn personnel, it's a full-time, part-time SROs, court officers, and as well as the shift differentials.
Why are we calling it, getting rid of that? That's not the discussion did we have that discussion with somebody else? Cause that's not the discussion I thought we had.
No, that's what I'm cutting out of it.
That's what you're calling it.
Yeah, that's one,
I missed that one.
that one,
Yeah, me too.
What are you cutting out,
No,
Joe?
that's
I'm sorry.
part of the cut from the overtime.
Oh,
is-
okay.
It's just
Okay.
part of that.
Hopefully we can now.
But it's still 45,000.
It's still 45,000.
Okay,
Whether
but
we
it was
cut
incremental
it
to
doesn't
that.
really matter what
Okay.
it's called, it's just that.
I know.
All right, any questions on personal services?
Just that Debbie, when Debbie goes back through, she'll reflect the change to a COLA increase to the, personal services line.
Well, that's not in personal services, that's in the clerk line.
Right, sorry.
So,
Hold on, here's a question I have, because I'm hearing two different things. My understanding was to move everybody from 6% to 2.8% for COLA for all staff. Or were you including PD and DPW? I've heard both, that's why I'm asking.
Clerk is what I meant
yeah,
for
so
this.
So the PD staff, not their contracted
personal services is part of the PB contract. And as we have discussed, that is really up in the air at this point. Right now, this is being budgeted based on what the highest amount that is being negotiated. So we can't lower that until the PBA contract is negotiated. Obviously, if it comes in at that, that's what it is. If it comes in lower, we lower it. If the contract's not figured out until after
That's
June,
exactly the way you do
we
it.
have to stay at that point, because if it goes to arbitration, it might end up there, so we can't lowball this one.
It's another reason why I need money for the CPA, because I need to understand, how do we budget? Because we have to submit a budget to New York State before the end of April, that's the rule. How do we budget if we have to budget for that amount? Then, once the negotiations happen, if it's lower, we have to make a budget adjustment. If it's the same, then we just have to do retro pay.
And once that is negotiated, figured out, obviously if it's before June, before this budget is approved, that would also affect the overtime line as well, and then we can revisit that afterwards to see where it's at.
I have a legal question, Lena. How do we ensure as soon as we, well, I guess while we're negotiating these two contracts, that the dates are mid-year when they expire next time? Because we should not be in this situation where we're waiting to negotiate and agree on a contract while we're trying to figure out a budget. This should not ever be the position we're in again. How do we do that?
It's not uncommon though, I'll tell you, it happens, you're not the only ones.
Right, so how do we
So-
fix it though?
It's, you have to, at the negotiating table, yeah, but it's, that's where you fix it, because this happens quite a bit.
Okay, so I would like to note for whatever record you would like to bring back to whoever your PVA negotiator, I know yours, and so I can call them when I'm done here. I do not know who it is.
Right.
Well, we can't really direct that.
We
We
can ask
can-
for
we
it as
can
part of
hope
the
we can-
negotiation.
Right, you can ask for it, but you're right, there's no guarantee. that
I've been there, I know what I'm
Change
talking
the
about.
expiration date.
Well, you can't change the expiration date of the contract.
No, when we're negotiating,
Oh,
and
yes.
set a different date, so that's mid-year, I mean, mid-fiscal year.
I mean, even if
Which
you
would be
guys
like
were
end
to
of year,
start
so
each of
December
the
31st, because if budget's
Right.
in June, if we do it for, just ask for this contract to go to the 31st of, if it's a 5-year, instead of expiring May
Right.
31st.
Wouldn't it be smarter to use fiscal year?
Through.
Cynthia?
I'm sorry,
What
we
do you think
know
about
this
using?
ahead of time, that's what they're
Yeah,
saying.
yes,
Since we know,
in the negotiation.
That, the only thing with that, Cynthia, is that'd be very difficult, because we are, our village, budget is June to May. So if we're
So it has to match
negotiating,
our,
it's
fiscal year.
ideal, because if we're negotiating it for a December increase, then I don't know how we would budget, once we get to December, how we're gonna, like, cause
We'd
if there's
have to
a,
take a hit the first year that we
yeah,
do
that's,
start change the date.
then there just wouldn't be.
Or like
well,
with
no,
our
it
We
wouldn't
might
be
not
for
have
sure.
enough money budgeted.
No, I was
in our
saying we'd
lines.
have to, like, allocate ahead of time, extra money at the beginning of the negotiation, so that we have extra for it going throughout.
This is actually being done, this is good, this is nice the way this is done. When I would reach out to negotiate with the municipality, they would say, we're not ready for you. We're not gonna talk to you, we're not ready for you, and they would purposely let the contract expire, just because they did.
Who does that benefit?
I'm sorry,
Who does that benefit? Why would they do that?
it benefits them because they throw it out there, they hope Herb doesn't give us what we're asking for, and then Dre, I went for 5.5 years without a contract. So
That's not
this is actually, we're on the side of the angels where we're negotiating like this.
Yeah, and this is something like, because it is contractual negotiations, because obviously, assuming I would be obviously working through the chief and, you know, work with CBA council. So those are stuff we should probably talk, you know, between the two of us in terms of how we
Yeah.
negotiate that.
Yeah.
So,
Ask him for
Asking for a
yeah,
friend.
no, I get what I'm saying, these are things that are probably
Asking
best
for a
between the chief and
future
myself.
executive session, I suppose.
Thank you.
Okay, where are we?
Thank you.
Alright, where
So,
do we go?
sorry, okay, sorry,
We did personal services great. Okay, the 130A, the PBA contractual payouts. So this is, I pulled some stuff, there was a lot of moving around with the budget in this. I pulled some stuff out of here to add to different lines because everything is basically coming out of payroll. Whether it was budgeted for or not, you know, we would just get like the, what do we got? So, we have a physical fitness stipend that gets paid out every year. It's roughly around $8,000. They come, they show up, they make sure they're not out of shape, and then they get paid for it. That's been coming out of our payroll. Generally, it was in the overtime line. Moved it out of there because instead of using that obviously as overtime, it needs to be its own thing. Uniform allowance. We pay about $13,000 in uniform allowance every single year, which was never previously budgeted for. It was just something that, you know, that we were ready to cost. And also replacement of damaged equipment while on duty. If someone breaks something while they're working, that's their own personal equipment, we have to replace it. This is all contractually obligated stuff. And additionally, there's now, per the current standing of the contract, is holiday checks. So that's what's in the PBA contractual line. Anything from there?
So everything that's in 130A, PBA contractual, includes everything that is currently in the proposed new PBA contract. That does not mean that's what will be in there,
Yes,
and that's not what that will be quantified as in dollars then.
correct.
Okay. So this is the most it will be, is what you're presenting, just to be clear.
Unless you negotiate higher.
I really like you a lot,
To the clerk line, so the difference between a 6% and a 2.8%, which is what you guys are requesting, for these two employees who do an enormous amount of work for us, is $1,774 out of my entire budget. I would still request it stay at 6%, because compared to everything, I understand that it's, compared to everything else, you know, within the PD that, you know, is going up, I'd like to make sure that they're properly compensated for the work that they're doing.
I respect the ask.
All right. So then the next line is the train line. This is a new line we're creating, I'm gonna create, or would like to create. Due to, we're kind of in the position this year where we had an enormous amount of overtime that we were paying out, that we no longer have enough money to be able to do trainings that are necessarily mandatory. We're moving things around to make it work, but if we have a training budget line, it's actually got a couple of facets that work out very well, because then we have money to do all the mandatory trainings that are required by the state to make sure that we're up to par with everything. And it's additionally kind of like a training in itself for the supervisors to kind of give them, not that obviously they control it, but to give them the training line to say, hey, look, you know, in the future, I'm not gonna be here forever, that somebody else needs to understand the budget prior to actually taking over. So it gives them, you know, kind of like a foot in the door.
Succession planning,
Yes, something like that.
long-term strategy.
That's the goal.
Wow.
So that's an additional benefit of that in my book for that. So.
I think that's wonderful.
So we've
I just
already-
would like to see it at $20,000 instead of
No,
25
we-
this
I
year.
would put
From
it
there.
to $20,000, we're good.
So we're lowering it to 20 based on your
Drop it to
feedback?
20, that's not a problem. Yeah, so that was, we took an additional 25 out of the overtime, and I would just like to keep that, training going. All right, next is equipment, so we're on 200A. Oh, no, it's equipment, yeah. So I mean, so this is a like adjustable one. This is like we have the vehicles that we pay for, taser axons, which is our tasers, our Outlook emails, and other programs that we run that are just, we need them yearly and we use them. So And there's nothing really that we can take out of there at this point.
This is something that the chair did.
Any questions on that?
No, I was can't from the chair.
All right. Next is we have the contractual line. So contractual, this is other various PD systems, scheduling programs, the records management system, our internet firewall, the cell phones, SIM cards, which will be for the LPRs eventually, and our policy and procedures programs. This is again a lot of stuff that is just, we have it as yearly subscriptions and we pay for it. So whether or not that goes up
I
is up to the
see
company.
paper products, pens, water cooler, etc. So let's make a note of that when we have that
Exactly.
discussion about shared services and your contractuals,
That's
and
in
your
supplies.
supplies.
So under the supplies, the only thing I'll say about that, as far as paper products, pens and all that, you know, the water cooler, that stuff we can definitely, I could look at, we put together. The things that would be tough to combine is the village hall doesn't need bullets and training supplies for range and stuff like that.
Right.
So, and medical, you know, medical supplies and all that.
Right.
So it would just be, we would have to really look at that because the supply line also includes uniforms, initial issue
Yeah, I don't-
I'm
uniforms.
not
See,
saying
that's-
take it
that's
away,
what I
I'm
was
saying
talking about last
modify
year. He should have
what
broken
is
down.
in your supplies versus
Maybe
what's
more
in shared
categories.
services.
Yeah, but as
Like
far
the
as,
bullets in the same
so-
line at the pads.
it's just, it's all supplies.
What I'm saying is, we needed to break this down for our budgets. We need to break this down into lines that make more sense. Bullets shouldn't be on the same line as a pad. You know, if we have office supplies, we can make office supplies, and then,
Right,
But that's what she's saying, take the money from him, from office supplies, find out how
right,
much
not
that
take
is.
away the supply
and put it
line,
into-
just like
Put
look
it
at it.
into the shared
Right.
service, now then his supply line will become bullet supply.
Right, and
Yeah.
what is the cost
We're not
saving
buying
benefit when we're looking at buying things in bulk from different vendors, which is something that
So
we can help
the
with.
other thing with paper products as well is we use a different paper than everyone else for tickets, right, so that stuff. So there's, I mean, this is a conversation that we can
Right.
definitely have, we can go deeper into that.
How much do you think we save on this, Joe? Do you think this would be a good savings?
It depends, we buy in bulk, we bought paper for the printer once this year because we bought a big box of it and since we're digitizing everything at this point, now we're.
And we've been more lucky buying it when the sale comes on.
Right,
Because
So
when we
it's
try to buy
definitely-
bulk,
we're all
it's all
yeah.
moving, yeah, so it depends.
right, it's definitely a discussion, that's a lower priority level, but should be happening.
If you notice, my lines keep going more and more, I'm kind of.
So the other thing I will say about the supplies, and like even though, like I said, I think it's a good idea to look at what we can combine together. You know, just the supply needs of the different departments are very different, so again, we'll have that conversation about that and how we can look into.
I'm not trying to pick it here, but how are you gonna save, keep on paper and paper? If you bought a big bulk of it, you save money, is that what you're saying?
That,
And then you have a supply house that you
in
go
theory,
to?
in theory, we could have, but we would just, we would.
But you have a
just
supply
separate it.
house in the village and then you just
I
go
mean,
over
the
there?
biggest problem with that is that we have 3-4 different buildings, how many buildings we have? This one, 3-4-ish. So, I mean, again, that's, I don't need to beat this over and over again today. so.
Yeah. Put a pin in that for another time.
So utilities, this is another one where I think we can look at combining them if possible, just because I know we want it separated out to be able to see what's UP used where. But right now, you know, we have the lines broken up and we see what everyone's spending on what. But then it's coming out of my line and then his line and her line and their line, and instead of just, we get one bill, right?
exactly.
Well, we get 3 bills,
We
3 or
get
4 bills.
Okay.
I think the one area that, like I said earlier, you could probably group most of them together with the exception of the water and sewer, that has
I was
to be.
gonna say, that's saying 5 today,
Yeah,
so,
Yeah.
but that might be for the well houses
But then,
too.
then we
yeah.
have some POs where it's, I have to sign it, you have to sign it, the mayor's gotta sign it. and
that's,
Leah comes in and
that's
signs
all the
it.
A lines, that's
Yeah.
why you see multiple lines, but the water and sewer, they have to be separated.
Gotcha.
That I tried to get information from Ron already.
No, and also part of it is, it's nice that you're trustworthy and I'm trustworthy, but it creates layers of oversight per the comptroller, so.
Gotcha.
Don't tell him, but in the winter time, I plug into his outlets from.
I'm saying nothing.
I was wondering why I went up so much, jeez.
But we have caught, I mean, early on, you guys may have seen it, but when I was keeping track of it and Randy, I was doing that, we have court where the utility bills screw up just like they do for our residential. And they do a misread and we keep bugging them, just like we have to as residents. And they have creditors. It takes long, it's very painful, but they do it.
Yeah, and we have, Ann's actually looking into one right now, because I think it's for everyone that just went up, but the bills they've been sending have overlapping dates.
Oh, and we're also due for that new audit, so, I'll get on that for next year. It takes forever, but yeah.
All the utility bills for the lights in this village are right around $6,000 a month, Debbie?
For the village?
Yeah, all the lights, Central Hudson lights, keep all the lights on, I know it was right around $6,000, $6,200.
I don't know if off the top of my head, you caught me off guard on that
No,
one,
I remember that, I
however,
remember seeing that, $6,000.
if it's street lights, he's gonna cover it next.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely more than that. My bills are more than that.
Okay. I mean, insurance is the same, you know, the insurance line includes insurance.
So I wanna add to that though, so when we got the breakout from previous, people, they lowballed his insurance and, Jake's insurance line. So the reason why it looks like instead of 15% it's 19 is because we have to make those lines whole and then increase it, so that's why the money. Now, they're gonna self-fund and fix that and pay the overage from this year, but next year the number is gonna be higher than what it was here, okay?
Is that the line, so we're approving at the next meeting?
Yes,
Yes, yeah, there's some, there's
Thank you.
transfers.
so that's why it's like 19, where I try to keep it 15 in most places.
Any questions on insurance?
No.
Repairs to equipment, just looking to increase that a little bit, just because what we're trying to do now is have a quarterly rotation of the vehicles, getting maintenance on them, because we're running into problems where the cars aren't on a rotation, a maintenance schedule, and we're having to now pay more to repair them and fix them and get, one of them just had to be fixed. Anyway, some had to be changed out where we're spending more money than if we would just have basic upkeep of the cars and send them out on the schedule, so that's the increase there. Any questions?
Nope, thank you.
And then if you guys wanna look at the rest of the little PowerPoint here, it's got the graph of the budget breakdown of where we're at in blue, or sorry, what we were budgeted for in blue. Yellow is where we're at as of 2/28. And then green is what the next year. Obviously, you can see the revenue line is very high. I don't expect that next year as expected. And the last graph is a nice little pie chart. It shows you everything that is contractual, basically stuff that is really completely up to the negotiations with the PDA. And the rest is the things that were changed as well, but we already took out 50,000, so we kind of surpassed that. 41 is
Very nicely done, thank you, Bill. Moving on to safety inspection,
So I'll cover Bruce for now.
please.
Right now, like I said, we did 6% across the board. If you have any questions, you need me to change anything, please advise. In terms of the equipment, I
So
talked to.
that's gonna go to the COLA.
Okay, done. In terms of the equipment, right now, the equipment was always 1,000, and we usually utilize 1,000 for files or things like that, filing cabinets and stuff. I added the 4,000, we've got our first quote, it was 20,000 for a building inspector system, which was ridiculous. I told him it's out of his mind. We brought it down to 13,000, I said, you're still out of your mind. I'm gonna check what others, Randy, you told me you had 2 vendors, if you can pass them along. Our building inspector system, when I was looking into it, if I could take information out, is old. And
That's an understatement and being kind.
I am being kind, I don't wanna publicize.
Decades old.
Okay? So that's why I put the 4,000 in there. I figured the 4,000 plus the 1,000. Then the next one on contractual. My mind just went blank, I'll be honest with you. Right now, his run rate, I think is like 3,300 or 3,800.
I'd like to see that at 35. It's consistently under 35.
And I'm okay with that.
And what is in that?
That's why I went blank. I literally just went blank. I had it ready to say and then I went blank.
Yeah, if I could have that, a breakdown as to what that
Yep.
encompasses, I would appreciate that. 'Cause I don't understand that one.
Yes, will do. Then in terms of the fire inspection stuff, that's something that he's hired to do. It was done like a contract in the past, after I investigated that, like I said earlier, that'll be moving into the monthly payroll check versus the other way.
And between now and the next time we meet, can you please explain the way the lines in the year-to-dates and the lines in the budget for this department did not make sense to me? I sent you an email about it. I did not have time to go. No, it did. It was part of like 3 different things, all the little screen grabs. And you addressed it as like, we're still going over the formulas. I sent it
Well,
late
no, I
at
did
night, like 2
respond.
minutes ago.
I responded to that, I just don't recall the answer. The third
Yeah,
thing
we
is
just
that
talked
was a
about
short
that.
class.
Again, the sum of all the parts, so I'm not gonna take up time for
You
that.
have an email in your inbox
Thank
on
you.
that. So in terms of his fire, that's paid monthly, and it'll be in the payroll.
Next up, registrar.
Registrars, as I said, I
You
have,
said earlier, right?
I did say it earlier, we pay out of the payroll line now. So one of the questions I have for Ron is if I'm okay to move it from registrar. I don't know yet, but I did move it just in case. Either way, you're not seeing it in 2 places. Joe, it's your turn.
Oh, back to there.
Back up.
There's pretty simple. We've been budgeting for 5,000 every year for it, and we have not gotten the grant. We now have a $10,000 grant for it. The $10,000 is being utilized to cover the overtime that Sergeant Goldenbach gets for when he does there. We asked for more, that would cover more, but that's what they gave us this year. When we use all of it, generally with grants, if we use it all, hopefully they give you more next year.
And we can probably, as a board, be writing letters of support for that now. I mean, that doesn't hurt.
Sure, nothing, no to do, support it. And then there's a 5,000 in addition for the supplies as well.
I'm sorry, what was said before that we could use?
We could be writing letters of support if they're using their grants in whole and showing that. It gives the incentive to get more grant money, and if we continue to write letters of support, then it would be helpful.
Yeah, because I think this year, she said we could get up to 28,000, or
Yeah, we
30,000.
put in for 20-something thousand.
Yeah.
There is very important, and there's very few agencies that have it in this county. It seems that when they cut the budget, they cut out there. I think it's us and more that the only ones who have it.
Yeah,
And that's from the youth bureau, correct?
that's you.
Yeah.
And it's a county one, so it's
Yeah,
an easy
so then we should
contact.
be advocating for that for you guys.
So the 10,000 is a wash. This isn't
Right.
going up at all.
Gotcha.
So in the
If anything,
expense,
it's going down because we cut out the, whatever the contractual price was. the
you'll see it on
900.
both sides, the revenue and the expense.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you for the
Thank you.
Jake?
Okay. Oh, where do we start? Well, we'll start right on top. Me and Randy talked last night, we did make quite a few changes. I did do some recalculations on the garbage,
Who's winning, here you go.
new one.
Listen, I wanna say, we are in a public meeting, I wanna say that Jake, not that Joe did not, I don't wanna undercut anybody else, but we had a really great discussion, and I couldn't have done it without seeing the things that they submitted, and it was super helpful. And we got to
I
a
don't
place
like
where,
the
I think at the end, he didn't feel like I was trying to go in with a hacksaw. He understood, and it was a give and take, and it was just a very positive experience, so thank you for that, and I'm proud of us, so. Rock out.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Where's your PowerPoint?
I don't have one.
I've got pictures and
I
colors.
couldn't find my circle maker.
Well, there's a
Okay.
picture of the circle.
Construction paper and the fat grants.
Yeah,
Okay, hit it.
okay.
Just do line one.
So proud of you.
Line one, DPW superintendent, obviously that's my salary.
We cut that in half, right?
Yep, we
Yeah.
cut that down to
We did not.
2.8%. Personal service overtime, that's, could be water breaks, sewer backups. We've been getting close, so I did ask to raise that a little, or no, I'm sorry, I left that flat from last year. A few years ago, we raised that, because I was getting over. Personal service, same thing, that's everybody's salary, which, that's gonna change, obviously.
So can I ask a
That's what
question?
went to 8,500 in the overtime line, 5110
That's the one we changed, you were right, Randy,
So 102 is what?
8,500.
We changed the 10,000, 8,500?
We changed it, we took, yeah, went from 10,000 to 8,500.
Okay.
That's bare bones minimum,
It's based on the actual year over year and where we're at.
bare bones minimum. So it's like being on empty on your gas tank.
Yeah, but the reason that we did it that way, and Jake can explain, is there's money in other places for an
Yeah.
emergency.
We can, exactly. We moved a lot around. So actually.
Yeah, we have a winter like this. Okay.
Okay, so where does that bring us? Down to 200?
Yep.
Equipment, obviously I put in for more, I put in for 40, I raised that 5,000 to 45. But then me and Randy did some finagling and moved some stuff around, and we actually brought that up, didn't we? Randy, yes, we changed that to 10,000, right?
Not that
No,
line,
not
we brought
that
a different
one.
line, for up 5,000, yes, that wasn't that one though.
Yeah.
So that one we
Okay,
left,
you're
though.
right,
We
that
didn't
one-
cut it.
Yes, that one we left.
Keep it.
Keep it.
Yes,
yeah.
we're gonna
Here,
keep that
Debbie.
the same, but hopefully,
We need to, because we had talked about, now that we have, you know, the bonds, some of the funding from these equipment lines are gonna help cover the cost of the bonds.
yes.
Here's you can keep this. This
And
is
I'm
all
hoping to
numbers
roll
that
over
we
enough from last
suggested.
year to be able to buy a truck.
You're gonna. If we don't have any crazy things, like once in a lifetime
Tornado,
epic
like we were
tornadoes,
having last night.
by this time next year, I'm confident it's in there.
They have a grant that we can get.
Awesome.
We're looking
I love that
at-
even more.
We're looking, we don't know, by the way, I did get confirmation, it's gonna be the second half of the year, which is not gonna be early.
I haven't waited this long.
Exactly.
Okay,
So, okay, so where were we?
200, state of
200
45.
equipment, that one. 400 contractual. Oh, big sheets.
I was gonna say, I'll keep keeping that, because the run rate's around there. Okay.
Yeah, contractual we're leaving,
Mm-hmm.
gonna keep that flat. Chips, same thing, I left that flat. What that is, I get a ton of money from the state. If we have to do a little bit extra grinding or something, that 35,000 covers that. Supply.
411.
Yep, supplies we left flat also.
We cut it to 30.
Where did we do that?
But their run rate's higher?
Oh, I put on the wrong line, online. We left it at 50.
I was
The
gonna
next
say,
one down.
The next one down,
Yep.
see?
Yep.
Trying to
It's a
confuse
long
me.
conversation, Jake, and that's a very small box for me to write in.
Okay, 412, blacktop, gravel, stuff like that. We, gonna only go to 30,000 instead of 45.
Even with the cost going up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cause we got a lot of that I can use through chips.
Mhm.
Utilities, obviously, who knows what that's gonna do. Insurance went up, so that had to go up.
So the insurance, his insurance was similar to the PD, so that's why you see 115. Did you keep the utilities the same?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Building repairs stay flat.
So 450, same thing, repairs, building repairs, we kept that flat. Repairs to vehicles, equipment repair, kept that flat. Drainage, kept that flat. Oh, that's right, I'm sorry, Randy.
8,000
Yeah.
on 510, 480.
Put it to 8,000,
Mm-hmm.
so from 9 to 8.
No, we had a very thoughtful conversation.
Okay.
It's really bare bones minimum.
It's not, you'll see.
It's bare
Just
bones
trust
minimum.
you trust Jake's expertise. Let him do his presentation.
I trust Jake's expertise, but I still think this is bare bones minimum.
It's not. Go ahead, Jake.
Okay.
Tell me, go back to the overtime, Jake.
What happened?
Go back to the overtime. How are you okay with knocking that down?
Because that's personal.
There's gonna be raises in there too.
A lot of the overtime on that line is like Montgomery, Montgomery Day, events, stuff like that. A lot of our overtime comes from water and sewer. They're the ones, water, sewer, and snow are the overtime lines that are continuously almost going over. So they're the ones I raised.
I don't see how you could take last year, knock it down $1,000 to $9,000 with raises in there.
To drainage?
I'm talking about the overtime.
The overtime we cut by $1,500.
Yeah, we got 1,500.
Because going on what we spent year over year for the last 4 years and what we spent this year is $1,500.
And he raised it on the snow overtime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the whole total you're going up for your whole department is 5.51%.
Not the whole department, there's different, he has.
No, I get, I'm talking about the bottom, I
Just that line. Oh, you're talking total of everything.
I'm talking at the top where it says personal overtime services,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Okay.
Awesome.
I get- all right.
Take that as.
Well, I can always move money back into there too.
Okay, it's just the thing is, you're not gonna, there's raises and stuff, go ahead, go with it, I can see us moving around here, I'm not comfortable with that. It's like running on empty.
Over every year, right?
What's that?
You've managed to be over every year. You're doing great.
Under.
Under, right.
Under.
That's what I'm saying. You're doing, I think this is fantastic. A realistic, unpadded budget is amazing to look at.
Well, what'd you say, Steve?
I said an unpadded budget, this is amazing to look at. That's fabulous.
Compare the budget, what did we save?
We're gonna be good, Mike.
No, go into the snow, I think that'll help.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause that's where,
Mhm.
that's where we got clobbered this year, with snow.
God, yeah.
So okay, so yeah, snow, first line, personal overtime. I raised that 15,000. I went from 30,000 to 45,000. Because again, I was way over this year, and winter's not over yet. So equipment, I kept that flat, snow equipment, that's sanders, plows, stuff like that. I bought a new sander last year. I got plenty of parts in stock, chains and stuff like that for sanders, so we should be fine there. Contractual, I moved up, obviously salt went up. Chances are we might need more salt next year, so that I raised to 51,000. And then repairs to equipment, I kept that flat. So then the street lighting, which that one we changed,
You changed that one?
yes.
To what?
Hold on, gotta find it.
This one,
400.
10,000 you went down.
Oh, you're correlating it back to an email, that's why you're looking back and forth at.
Yeah.
Yeah, one to let
70,000.
Sorry, I didn't have time, so.
Why don't you
Yeah.
let him use that in the meantime, I'll ask the question.
That was the midnight version. Debbie-
Yeah, I saw
Debbie
that.
got the early
I said,
version.
now, this is great, now I'm gonna get yelled at because she was up to midnight.
No. Nick will talk to you about that another time.
Okay, so this one, the equipment we kept the same, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So, under street lighting, 200, that we kept it flat. 400 contractual street lighting, that we changed to, we took 10,000 away, 10,000 out of that. It was 80,000, we're gonna lower that down to 70.
That's safe. Don't go lower than that though.
We did a lot of work on looking at what the year over year, so having the 4-year run rate was awesome, and then
Plus I
having
did-
this year to date
And
and
I
knowing
did
where
a
we
run rate
were.
as well.
So that allowed us to annualize everything and look at what we spent for 9 months, what we have left in the budget, look at, and like using common sense, obviously, this is the sidewalk paving, repairing lawnmower season that we're going into, so even if there's a lot in there, hello, we're gonna spend it.
It's not
Right.
right.
Yeah.
So these sidewalks that we,
Sidewalks, can I make a comment on that one, Jake?
Go ahead.
Because I've been involved with Anna. They're putting a lantern for DOT,
mhm.
and they will be including sidewalks for the remainder of Goodwill, I always mix that up.
Yep.
Actually, Goodwill down to Tompkins, if it's feasible, and from Lakeside down to the post office. That's why I didn't reduce that, just in case we needed to start something first.
Well, I'm gonna take some out of that.
Jake, I'm
You
gonna
wanna
ask
lower it
that,
more?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
ask
lower that to 3,000.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask Debbie to look into something. Debbie, I talked to John O'Brien, and he said when he put that property in his storage units, he put 30,000 into an escrow account for sidewalks that go from the
No,
railroad
no,
track to
not an
17th
escrow.
Street.
They did
Not
not
an
do
escrow,
that?
it's a bond.
A bond. So it is
That's
set aside
something,
for.
everybody has to do that.
So just like the one the railroad had to
So
do,
how do we use that?
so depending on the contract.
If
so
he, I don't know, I'm sorry, Debbie, I don't mean it.
No, go for it.
He has a certain amount of time to do sidewalks. If he doesn't do that sidewalk, then we have to do it with that money.
And then when I asked him about it, he said, I already put the money in the, so I think he's assuming you're gonna use it.
Yeah, that's probably what he thinks.
That was one of the follows.
Good.
The 5,000 going to 3 or going to 2, I'm sorry.
Going to 3.
And then instead of skipping to the youth program and all the other things, should we just let him go to the next part of the DPW?
Yeah, he should
Keep
do all that.
cohesive. That's what I was asking, sorry.
Okay, so we're gonna.
Well, you could do parks without that one line.
He went down to 2 from 5,000.
On sidewalks.
Okay. You're doing
So,
park
well,
and
park and rec,
Oh, yeah.
I can do a little, because, Josh, his, part of his salary comes out of Parks and Rec, because he does a lot of, well, he basically does all the mowing, weed whacking, stuff like that. Equipment,
And the rest of the salary comes from water and sewer.
equipment, did we do that? I think we left that the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that we left the same, 3,000. Contractual, we left flat. Utilities, we left flat. Repairs of building, we left flat.
Even though we didn't have use in there because we have a plan to use it, right, Jake?
So, do you want me to just skip right to, and do
Yes.
water sewer, or do you wanna
Referencing
do this
garbage.
first and?
From garbage and then water sewer.
8160. It's after that. If it is,
Yep.
you have like my application.
Everybody ready?
Ready.
Sanitation,
No, go one more page.
I got no.
okay, 100. Personal service, obviously,
That's contractual.
yep, that went up with, that's gonna go up with the raises. There's 3 guys get paid out of that.
Is that the one, people could have one back and forth on? No,
No,
okay,
that was overtime,
okay.
which we're gonna take right out. So Debbie,
8160.
8160, 201, 2,000, we're gonna take that right out.
You mean 102?
102, sorry.
Put that zero?
Because we, in the past 4 years, we had 0 overtime with garbage.
Well, then long as it was in there, every
Because way back in the day, when we only had 1 garbage truck, and a day like Thanksgiving, on a Thursday, we worked till 8 o'clock at night to get the garbage picked up, because we had no choice. Because we only had one truck, so it had to get picked up empty, so we could use the truck for recycling. So back in a long time ago, we used to always have overtime for garbage. Now, with the guys I got and with the 3 trucks, we never have overtime for garbage.
We spent $300 in the last 5 years in that line.
Nice.
5 years,
Yeah.
so.
And if anything, you'd leverage them
Put it somewhere.
for snow, which that's where your overtime is. Makes sense.
So equipment, yep. That went up.
How much?
Hold on, let me find it. 200, oh wait,
Yep, 8160, 200.
why is that not?
Randy, which one? How much?
Up to 10,000. I mean, I might have made a mistake too.
No, you didn't make a
No.
mistake, it's on here.
That's okay, you know it's 10, I put 10. So we're good.
Hold on, we,
You're on the phone for an hour and a
all
half.
right,
I mean,
this is,
everything.
you're right, Randy made a mistake.
Say it loud for
Randy
everyone
made a
that.
mistake.
Oh my God.
We gotta move these around. Okay. All right, so yeah. So the equipment, we brought up to 5,000,
No, up to 10,000.
up to 10,000,
Cause you need it.
yeah.
Yep.
Contractual, okay. This is the one I did work on.
Okay.
Where's my notes?
I'm excited to hear.
Right there. Okay, so we're gonna bring that down to, I think I'm gonna bring that down to back down to 245.
Okay. So I would suggest, and I think we can discuss it more individually, because I'm very confident that what we were able to thoughtfully surgically remove from your budget in places that we weren't using it, we were able to remove last night about $165,000 from your budget. So
Yeah.
if you're saying that you're comfortable keeping it at 245, when what I was arguing with you last night was 250, I would tell you to put 5 back into that other equipment line and make that 50, because you need it. And the goal is the truck, and if you have a plan, then we need to get there.
Yeah, but we'll put that in the, not the sewer equipment, we'll put it in DPW.
Okay, so put it back in the DPW equipment line,
Yeah,
right? I mean, not that we have to agree on it today, but can we see the budget when it looks like that?
With the change? So bring it to 245 or 2?
Bring it to 245, but you're gonna add 5,000 into his
1986 trucks.
DPW
That's-
equipment line, add 5,000 to that.
Mike, we didn't
No.
give it up. What we did is we moved
Give me a
it,
second.
so it's going into the equipment line in DPW, so we can get trucks.
get
Make it 50.
I get it.
It's at 45 now.
But I don't want to hear a couple months from now, oh, geez, we're short here, we need more money. I mean,
We're,
We have to do that anyway, so it's not like
we're not gonna,
out of the question.
I took everything into consideration.
On there, 51 cents to 100.
Me peanut butter and jelly sandwiches at midnight tonight. 51, 10, 200, equipment will make that 50.
Yes.
Okay,
So that's not exceed, that goes up. Yep.
okay.
All right, supplies,
Thank you, I got it.
61,
81, 64, 11.
411. We brought that down to 23.
Which one is that, 81?
411.
Yep, 411, supplies. We haven't used a whole lot of money out of there, that's gloves and vests and stuff like that. We don't need vests anymore because everybody has,
High visibility sweatshirts.
yeah, which I do take their sweatshirts out of there.
You take them on?
No, just the 3 garbage guys.
81, 60, 200. That went down to what?
23.
I have a question not for Jake, but for insurance purposes and group discussion between now and the next meeting about shade trees. Jake explained what they had been used for in the past, because I said to get rid of it, because we have New York Forward and streetscaping and park improvements coming up. But Jake had explained that we used it to, if a tree fell and did damage, whatever, so I would need some backstory about why we do that, and is it to avoid insurance? If it did damage, wouldn't we just put an insurance claim in, and are we using that money to repair things we don't have to? What's the thought process there?
Wasn't there a guy doing it here volunteering?
That's not the same. The way Buddy explained this to me, this is trees in like the park on our property. If it falls on somebody's shed, falls on somebody's fence, that's what we use to repair.
So it's something Jake can answer right now, but we gotta do some.
Or even, so when Buddy explained it to me, he said that, but it was also if it fell on our own property, it damaged our own property.
Yeah.
So, it's a combo.
Yeah, so I wanna talk about that at
You're
another time.
leaving it alone?
Yeah, but if we are not using it properly.
Well, it hasn't been used, so.
Right,
Okay,
so,
alright. So Jake gonna go into water sewer, you wanna give him a break and we'll come back?
I'll take a break.
I have one more question for you, not for today, but again for the buyouts can someone quantify how many people that you have that we think are going to be doing buyouts, and how do you justify or rationalize that we need 60,000 and not 100 or not 30, where do we get 60 from?
That I let Bill
You
talk.
can't guess who's gonna take buyouts or anything like that.
No,
You
you
can't
can't
do that.
do that up here.
We're not guessing, I wanna see how, I need some kind of, how many people are employed, how many people take a buyout now, what's the average buyout percentage, like a little bit of.
There's not a lot, but I will give it a.
So do we need 30,000 and not 60, or is it gonna be
Where are you looking
fruitful?
at one line, only because I started writing on a note.
9089-801 buyouts, we have 60,000 in there. There's never been anything in there.
Wait, where is it, 90?
9089801. Under employee benefits. Did you remove that?
Yeah, it's not on my
Yeah,
It's not on mine either.
we removed it.
That's gone. Completely? Okay.
Just, because I think we went over briefly before.
We had put it in there, and then we said we would fund it from the different payroll lines, because that's where it was. So that, but I'll still do the analysis somehow.
Okay, thank you.
Just hang on, to touch on that real quick, as far as if there is a full village-wide, even if it doesn't increase, like, it's 2500 person right now, is that still coming out of the payroll lines, or are we looking?
So that's the question that we have for Ron. Will it go under each payroll line, or will it come into our master line, we have the medical? So that's the question that I have.
Yeah, that's.
And this is something that can be negotiated with each different union too. One can negotiate a $2,000 buyout, one can negotiate a $15,000 buyout. It doesn't have to be across the board. This is just something I threw out there to work with. The idea wasn't out there during the time.
Yeah.
So each department can do this.
Yeah, it's just for our purposes, we have to know especially if it goes up.
Which line is
2,500 we might be able to absorb, but if it goes up more, I get 2 or 3 guys that are willing to do a buyout, all of a sudden we get hit with a $20,000 bill.
Yeah, the planning forward for all of the things, and the retirements and the accruals, that's definitely a thing, for sure. Okay.
So he needs a break, so we can go back to AO 7140-110.
You did so good, Jake.
3
You're
lines.
almost done. What?
7140-110.
What page in?
So last year, page 9.
9?
Last year, it was towards the bottom of the page. This is one line on the bottom that I'm giving next page. Last year, if you recall, when I went through the budget, I found funding for the same thing in 2 places. We had said we would move it under the youth. Unfortunately, when we got to talk to Ron, he said move it back on the parks because he is a park director, that's where it should go. but his salary is not in the youth line for salaries, just so you know. So if you
It
add
comes
this.
out of the income, the revenue generated from the
That's-
program, but
it's
it's
covered, exactly.
here outlined in this section
Correct.
because it's recreation.
Because it's park, exactly. So I wanted to, because I found it in two places in the last budget, so I just wanted to make sure if anybody recalls that conversation that I had.
Yeah, cause I don't like it just makes sense, so.
Well,
just
in
saying.
two places?
So my eyeballs don't like that.
And two, I don't like two places either, so I removed it, you're not gonna see it in two places. So if you go to the next page, 7130-100, right now, the director line, if you add that to the 116, that's the full amount of payroll line, and the revenue line is equal to that payroll, okay?
No, it just makes it, there's gotta be a better way to do it.
7210.
When you say a better way, what do you mean?
There's gotta be a better way to do that. I want a second opinion, not of yours,
No,
of,
but I'm not hearing what your question is, when you say
of how to lay it out in the budget, not any of the numbers or any of the facts. I want a second accounting opinion about that.
I will account an opinion. Now, if you wanna look at, it's supposed to
It
be.
is the youth program.
But he's supposed to be doing more than that. That's the intention, is if he was doing an actual.
Then we need to remove that line from Parks and Rec and give him a different title within the youth program.
That's a whole different conversation that we get to have separate from this. All I'm saying, what we budgeted for was one day estimated, and you guys have all those details in your file,
Mm-hmm,
okay?
mm-hmm.
And
That's a
that
conversation for
includes,
another day.
exactly. That is, so you add the 14,750 to the 116,500, that'll give you the total amount that you'll eventually see in the original line item revenues.
Mm-hmm.
And then the supplies, last year we cut that budget, down to 11,180. Right now, I'm still waiting to find out from the town how much he's gonna give us. I have
But we
not-
did do there's a number on the contract.
No, there isn't. They won't give us any money if we
I
don't
have
have
the
the
number
number.
updated.
Where's the
It was blank,
communication?
and we filled the number in and
Right.
signed it.
I filled it in.
And you have not been issued a check because I checked.
No, separate two things. This year, this is for next year. This is for
Okay.
next. For the current year, we
We were
did
made
get a
whole.
check, we were made whole. That went into the revenue, so we were made whole.
Okay.
This is for the next coming fiscal year.
And the total amount that we were allowed to ask for reimbursement was what amount last year?
21,500.
Yeah.
Can I interject on that? I think I spoke to Katie about that, and it's because the town doesn't reimburse for supplies, it was for salaries.
So, but here's
That was a big, but then we.
What happened
we went
was
back and they said, all right,
her
we're gonna do
initial-
it.
Vice versa,
her,
right?
We can't submit to the town for supplies.
their initial
To have
contract
reimbursed
was
it.
for supplies
Yeah, yeah.
with the contract. And then they said, Debbie, do me a favor, submit it for payroll. And then what we have to do now is move money into the supplies from the expense line. You know what I mean, like this, which we knew that was gonna happen. So,
All right, so we're gonna put a pin in that one for now, until we get more information.
But I do wanna see the COLA increase throughout.
actually less than that,
Yeah, they're
6%. They're less than,
They put 1.7 on their percentage.
6%.
no, they're not at 6%.
1.7.
None of
What
that.
is in here, the email that you sent?
Not summer rec, no. Summer rec has details, and you'll see a spreadsheet that I put
I
together.
see it, and I'm finding your email.
More detail.
That's not what I'm talking about.
I'm talking about the spreadsheet that shows last year's salary to this year's salary.
My Excel says 4.71, so we still want to put on the
Where you see 4.7?
7310.
There, no, that's not it either.
Increased hourly rates for the counselors and the main director, remaining staff stayed flat.
So, exactly, so look at, do you know the spreadsheet, remember the pack of paper that I gave you guys? of all the
So
inputs
because
from
of the way
different-
you wrote this, I'm not saying you did anything, because everything was 666, I assumed that it was 6. That's what I was, okay, so it never was 6. Okay. I take
That
back
sheet.
every
Look
single
at-
statement.
You guys asked for the input, in that
Yes.
input, you'll see, no, that's not, that's his.
Yep, we have it. It's stapled to the back of the court.
I think that's the one page, the Maryland.
It's only on one page.
I have it on one page.
Yeah,
It's like 1.something. I'll check the calculation on this stuff.
Okay, at least at my Excel says.
This says
4.71, so that's good.
Let me see.
I knew I got it somewhere.
That's not, that's our staff.
Oh. Okay, take it back again.
I'll give, I will send you guys that sheet again. But I think you hit it on the nose, it's like 1.something. And the only raise, the only people who got raises, if I can talk off the top of my head, were the counselors and the head director.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And then the camp supplies, we'll put a pin on it, like you said. Library, they requested a lot more than what's in here.
Debbie, I'm sorry, I know putting a pin in it, but putting a pin in it, who's contacting the town to get that information? You or, okay.
Unless somebody wants to do it for me, but
You know, I just want to interrupt here for a second. New York State legislators got a 29% raise.
They shouldn't have.
Yeah.
No,
Who voted that? Who voted on that? Cause
They got a
That's not
29%
within our
raise.
purview, this is.
they shouldn't have. Sorry. Sorry, John Revella, I'm gonna say no.
29% raise.
all right, well, before we go into
Can I make a suggestion? It's been 2 hours, can we give a break so people can go to the bathroom and,
why don't we
When we
get,
get finished.
let's get finished.
because there's like 5 pages, we're not getting finished in the next.
No, but water sewer's gonna go a lot faster.
Okay.
Water and sewer will go faster. Let me finish this first. Library, they asked for 5,000, they asked for more, I put in 5,000, that's a conversation you guys have to have.
Steve, just give me everything that I asked for and then we can go home.
Yeah. The museum, I kept flat, any questions on the library?
You said you're gonna get us that information as to why?
Yeah, are we getting it for, reason
The
for
rationale?
the increase? Yeah.
We can get you.
Yep. And then for the museum,
The flat.
how many hours is the museum open and what is the historian tasked with doing? No. I know what the museum hours were the last season.
I'll get to that first.
I know we introduced two things.
And then
Organizations.
what are we, so there, and there's no utilities outlined in this contractuals are things that he needs for the museum.
Utilities falls under, I think that account falls into the city budget.
Okay.
And that's because of how they set up. Way.
Right, like long term, I don't think we need a utilities line in every single,
No.
but we need to know what they are, and we still don't off the top of our head.
That
in this
spreadsheet that I used to create for you
projection.
guys has that, so I just have to see if we can continue that.
Okay.
Okay.
On celebration,
Oh, that's what I'm asking. Yeah, that's why we were asking for hours of operation and when he's there. So if it's
On the
Wednesdays, we're
museum.
only saying it's Wednesdays and Saturdays, but not sure what time. Because I asked Randy, she didn't know.
for the museum, I don't know it off the top of my head. I have to
We
look.
always say
Yeah.
Wednesdays, but
That's
I'm
the first
sorry.
That's a takeaway, it's seasonal and all
I'm
that.
sure it's posted on the door.
It was last season, I don't know what it was for the winter and what it will be for the
Was it
spring.
April through?
I'm sorry, my brain is saturated, I don't have that
Yeah,
info at the
okay.
top of my head. In terms of celebrations, last year I lowered it from 25,000 to 20,000. This year our run rate is just about 18 to 19,000. If you wanna know what that includes, it includes Memorial Day, Easter Day, Old Fashioned Holiday, one by the months. Easter, Memorial Day, St. Patrick's,
Toys for Tots.
Toys for Tots,
Yep.
Old Fashioned Holiday.
Veterans lunch.
The Veterans Lunch, that's right, that's a big, one of the big ones. I'm missing one. Oh, Halloween, that's the Halloween part, yeah. I said that, yeah, those are, that's what falls into.
I think that needs to
The
be done.
GMD, no, it's more, the GMD, most of the money is at the, the only thing that we did spend this year on GMD was the costume for Clifford, and that was gonna be used for multiple items. And we got a really good deal.
I'd like to see that cut to $10,000.
Then we have a separate conversation that has to be made with your board.
So you guys determine what events you want. Okay? So that should be an executive session, find the 23rd probably.
To cut events?
To cut celebrations funding. Doesn't mean we can't have events, it means we need to figure out how to do it cheaper.
I know what you mean.
We have to fund them, and the events cost money to put on.
So the firework grant is here because it gets,
By
we
any,
get the money back from
any
the
grant,
from
yeah,
the
by
county
law,
or something,
by
right?
policy, any grant we get, we have to book it
Your
here,
budget for
and then we push it out, yep.
Like
This
the
is
dare.
the general Montgomery
Yep,
account, and we make up the
I have a question about that line existing
What she put in here said.
in this as John Montgomery Day and in this as
It has to be
the
considered.
fireworks thing.
Grant money comes.
This is GSD fireworks.
Yeah, Newhouse talked about it.
I just have to make it consistent, I have to ask them to make it.
Okay, it's just like a clerical.
GMD
Okay.
fireworks, GMD fireworks, but they're both the same. One's
Because
an
there's-
expense, one's an expense, one's a regular one. For a program of the age, it's a 6% raise. I have to check what's going on here, so I'll put it at 2.8.
I have an exception to that for one person to discuss an executive session.
And then, so the top will be lowered to 2.8, and in terms of the senior dining and the contractual, last year you guys asked us to group the contractual, you cannot, because of the grant, they have to stay separate, just so you know, so this year we have to separate. If we get a grant for senior dining, it has to be outlined for senior dining as an expense.
I always thought it had to be that way.
It cannot be grouped with the senior center activities.
I didn't, I always thought it was that way.
Two separate things.
Last year, we were asked to combine them. We did not combine them, I'm just letting you guys know. So that's why you see separate. The senior center activities will remain 12.3, staying flat. And then the senior dining program, as you give raises to the people, you lower what you get from, what do you call that, for the expenses, like, you know.
And the senior contribution is what comes from the town.
No, that's our own budget.
That's our budget.
So we budget 12.3 in the 420 line. Senior dining program is, the 15,148 is partially what we get from the grant.
Exactly. You cannot, that's those are two, you cannot mix the two.
You can't mix senior center
They make
expenses
that
with the
very
senior
clear,
dining
so
program, they're
wrong.
two different things.
And so contractual for the senior center, we have nothing proposed.
Yeah, it's all three. Stay right underneath.
420.
It's listed as 400 and 420, Randy. There's
I
no
know,
One is 410.
because I put all my notes on this one, and it's not
Oh,
420.
those two doesn't matter.
No, the 400, right, we took it out, we're making it 420,
Okay.
just to avoid. Okay? And I think I can breeze through some of the next ones, except the point benefits I need to talk about. So in terms of zoning, planning, and ARB, they're all flat. The contractual from a salary, the contractual line is for their training as well as some of their.
I'm sorry, I have one more question, I'm sorry.
Sure, no, that's okay, that's what we do.
So the contribution goes to what? It covers what expenses and contractuals?
Which one? For the
420.
last, for the 420? That includes any activities,
Okay,
any.
that's all I need to know. Senior dining program, 15,148, that pays for.
That pays for some of the dining stuff that they need, the cups, the dishes, if they break, or as well as the cook, what do they call it? Recyclable dishes, throwaway, coffee, well, not the contribution, the salary is on the payroll line. So it also pays for the coffee, the filters, the dishwashing liquid, all that stuff that she orders from us. It should also pay for a portion, and that's a conversation we had with Heidi next
Two
week.
people, huh?
I didn't finish. It'll pay a portion,
Of course, I'm sorry.
a portion of the internet, a portion of the phone, and a portion of the utility. But I need to get that clarified if that's okay to do. And I'm having a meeting with Heidi towards the end of this month to get that detail.
Right, so
That's
Year
for
over
the senior
year.
dining.
right, year over year, we've spent nothing and then a lot in 2024, 2025.
Because we know that we could pay more out of that budget, so that's why you're gonna see the increase. And I have more questions to ask them that, you know, like a proportion of what's being utilized in the senior center.
Right, because we're not spending $15,000 a year on 2 sets of glass plates, napkins, paper cups, and coffee
No, but
urns.
we should be utilizing every penny we get.
Yeah,
We should.
If not, they will lower the amount.
yes. You
They
have to
will lower the
spend.
amount over time.
Really
We
get
had
less.
that conversation this week, which is coming at the end of March, so we can have more for the dialogue.
Yep.
And when is that meeting?
She didn't confirm yet, but it's the last week of March. The week of the 20.
I would like to be present for that meeting. Please let me know when it is, with adequate notice, so I can take off work.
You moving to employee benefits?
No, not yet, I was gonna, well, we can. AHRB planning and ZBA stay the same. Now, go to employee benefits, that's the one that's painful for people to see, but it's reality. So, state retirement just gave me the estimate, and it's about 200, there's 2 retirements, there's regular retirement and there's PD retirement. The first 2 lines, underneath the proposed, those are the estimates given from the retirement group. One thing that I wanna highlight is that that did not include the incremental raises for the negotiations. So I
Say it
don't,
again?
the retirement team gave us these estimates, not including the incremental raises that are expected from the negotiations. So just to give you an idea, right now, I'm saying it's anywhere from 240 to 255 for a state, and PD is anywhere from 255 to 290. I have a call into them so we can get into that. This is very, let me tell you, retirement's expensive, right?
I wouldn't know, I don't have one.
Yeah, well, you do. No, you do, you have the firm, so.
You and I were discussing this earlier, and I think it's right on the money.
Well, Debbie.
I got compliments with one. I'm sorry, I retract that statement.
Thank you. Stricken from the record.
Sorry about that.
You were right on the money with this, Debbie. I think you were well within that
It's okay.
with this.
Didn't say my weight, it's fine.
Retirement thing, you definitely within it. Because if you read your quarterlies, you get your quarterlies, it says it right there in the quarterlies, this is gonna happen.
So one thing, I don't know if you guys recall, Randy, Mike, and Darlene, I don't know if Cynthia and Steve had that review last year. I looked at run rates, I looked at the estimates they gave us, and I also compared it to the thing. This year, we're coming in right at target, right? I'm a little nervous about next year, given what we don't know. And again,
So they're giving a flat estimation of what we should be
they do,
putting aside, but
it's
they're not
literally
taking
a
into account.
convoluted calculation, statistical,
Well, yeah.
it's crazy, yeah.
They're throwing at you. So they're giving us like an estimated calculation of what to put aside based on the average, not taking into consideration this municipality is doing 246, this municipality is doing 6, 8,
You got it.
10%. So we really got in big trouble and now we're getting
We've
out
never
of
been
it.
in, we've never been in
We
trouble.
were in a deficit last year.
No,
2 years ago,
no,
right?
No, we were not.
No, we were not. Because I normalized everything and I knew what salaries were gonna be, we are right on target, there's never
But
been
we
a deficit.
increased it.
Now we have to increase
Okay.
it because, exactly.
Okay.
So right now, what I have here is 239 and 255 is what they gave us. It could go higher, and that's an area that's scary.
You know, when they walk up and doing great and all that stuff, the municipalities didn't pay that much into retirement. Some of them got away with 0 into it, but they wouldn't let their employees know that.
It's okay.
They wouldn't let their employees know that, and they would use that, retirement, Debbie, they would use that retirement, argument
Yeah.
again for raises. Then we found out that they were making money. When the market's not making good money, then that's when you pay into it. And what you did here was spot on.
So we've never been in a deficit because I've been doing the normalizing and stuff.
I remember that discussion from last year, because it was a chunk.
So,
Good job.
just trying to look at time. We're at 8:44.
Power through.
Social Security, that's another area that it was increased. We did come in almost on par So what we're saying, given the increases, I'm saying 177, that's high. Medicare, there was a huge increase. Workman's comp, it's 2-year contract, thank God, that's why we don't have an increase there. Disability, unemployment is always 1,000, we have to set aside. Disability, 15% increase. Now on the medical, just on medical, we just got notification. We are probably gonna be at a run rate of 798. We just got notification that we should add 80,000 to that. I did not add it yet. It's a 10% increase, that's painful.
This is employee medical.
Yep,
Nice.
and
This is
that-
where I
that's
hope the
gonna be
buyout,
increased.
and this is where I hope the buyout helps.
Potentially. So retirement of Medicare, there's a 4 or 5 people that are on there that we pay a portion of that because where they're at and when they retired. Other benefits, right now that's 35,000. Now this goes up and down as you see the trends because,
Depending on who's.
if I decide to go to the dentist and an eye doctor this year, I might not go for 2 more years. So it's really hard to project this, because it's when the person has a toothache or their eyes, my glasses went. So it's a reimbursement, but it's not only, it's for reimbursement that's not covered by the medical that people have. You know, like for dental, eye, and stuff, okay?
It's a moving target.
That one's hard, so I kept it flat. And I think the bonds are the bonds. We have to make the payments to the bonds. They're all listed there. You also got a debt schedule that I provided to you guys.
And we're getting those formulas checked, you said, right? Excuse me.
Those formulas have to check, well, not only they're checked, but they have to be.
How many of these bonds will be completed in this?
So we just finished 2 bonds last year. We're finishing 1 this year, but we'll have a total of 5.
Nice.
Okay, and the debt schedule will give you all the detail. I think we should take a break. I don't know if you guys wanna have a quick talk with Lino.
I want to get out of here, so we can just keep.
Well, Lino has 3, 2, he has 9 o'clock.
17, I gotta pick up my
We've done
son's
every
haircut,
option,
so.
right?
No, we need to
How much
finish what
longer
we're
we
doing.
got? How much longer we got?
It's
Another
revenue,
20 pages.
so revenue I could plow through
Yeah,
for
let's
everybody.
get this over, I want to.
We
Can we
can't.
not say it like that? Can we not say?
No,
it?
I have,
Get it over with?
no, I'm not saying that. I could plow,
What'd you say?
Can we not say, can we hurry up and get it over with? This is very important.
I
to
understand it's
everyone.
very important, that's why I don't want to take a break, I want to get through this.
so anyway, revenue I could go through, however, there are a few items where I think we can do a little increase, just a little, because one thing that I will stress over and over again. The revenue, if you book revenue and you overestimate what you're gonna get and you don't get it, you're gonna have a big trouble on the expense line, which will impact us later on for taxes. Last year, we came in right on par, and I know I pushed back on you guys really hard to not make increases in certain lines, and we came out just on par to what I had said. So what I'm gonna share today, I'm not saying I'm an expert, because I'm not, but what I will share is where I think we have to be a little bit more cautious, okay? So, let's go through this. So on the pilot fees, last year, one of the clients overpaid, so that's one of the reasons why I'm not budgeting a higher number. So we're keeping that flat. In terms of non-property tax, that's a sales tax from the county. Right now, if you do a straight run rate, you'll see it's about $850. However, that's the area where you need to keep it lower than what you expect, because it will cushion you for the things that we're not gonna get. For example, if you go down to utilities and franchise, we continue to see a decline on charter franchise
Which is
fees. Normal.
Yes, though. We need to get on that, and I know it's a discussion we've had, and we need to get back on it when we're done.
Well, someone should
dealing
take that, because I can't take that on.
with- Yeah.
In terms of Central Hudson is pretty flat. We should be getting a check at the end of April. The charter communication comes in, I think it may have come in a little early, so I'll double check on that.
16.
Yeah, yep. So police fees, that's just a weird thing, we get it pop up, it's never more than 150, I don't know why, but
Excuse me, David, this is 15?
615.
16.
I have 15 in there.
For some reason, you find it.
15 on mine.
Isn't that weird? It could be the way,
Different size paper.
no, it's the way things printed, so.
I got 23
It
total.
says revenue on the top.
Yeah.
521.
I know.
Okay.
Where are you?
Safety inspection, it's always about 100. Then other public safety, that is, I just want to- sorry.
I mean, so this isn't a public hearing, does anybody have questions on this board about these? Why don't we
Yeah,
do it
we have
that way?
questions, but.
So here's what I would
Go
do.
through every line, we
Good.
went through this already.
Rental properties, I'm recommending we bring it up 5,000, so
Oh.
30,000.
Hey, can you give us the
Yeah.
line number when you say?
24108.
You said 30,000?
Yep, and it's because my run rate's at 31,000.
Okay.
So 30,000, if we decide to raise rates, we'll get benefit, but
Mhm.
that takes forever to do anything.
Now, we discussed this earlier, it's $400 for a resident and $600 for non-residents. Why can't we raise it for non-residents?
That's a discussion you guys can
Yeah.
have. I would agree.
Yeah,
And with Lino, to make sure.
Yeah.
$400 for
Yes,
residents.
it has
Take
to
care of
be-
the residents, because this is the village of Montgomery, you take care of our own. And if you rent it from outside, whatever we make it $800. If they wanna come, they come. We make sure we take care of our own though first.
Okay, and the next one is building permits, so I would say that's a takeaway for you guys to talk about.
Yep,
that section.
agreed, yep.
Building permits, I had put 20,000, let me tell you why. Last year, we had Butler, we had Food Bank, we had Citywide, and we were doing some big projects. We knew they owed us money because they had made an agreement. Historically, they said, give me 35,000 this year, 35,000 next year. Good news, they came through, they paid, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Now, that's planning, that's different.
But
This is
that was the
for
one that came
permits.
for like $95,000.
No, that's for planning, this is for the building permits. So, what we don't know, and the reason why I'm saying go from 20 to 25, right now we're only at a run rate of 18 for the full year. So that's why I put 20, but then I said if somebody puts a shovel in the ground this year, I don't know if KSH is gonna put a shovel in the ground, railroad this year,
Yeah.
Raleigh Railroad, and Hanover. Will they be putting shovels in the ground in this calendar year that we're
Yeah.
talking about? I don't know.
Good predicting that thing.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I'm gonna be cautious, I put 25, but we also know that people are not doing as much in their household, so there's a slowdown. The other area that I said, the other area that's a watch out, and I just wanted to bring it to your attention, I said it a few years ago, we used to get a lot of great money from mortgage tax. We're not seeing that money come in, so I'm keeping it flat. And AIM is right now 14,162. We did sign a paper to support
Mm-hmm,
Kathy Hochul's stuff,
mm-hmm,
and hopefully we get more, but it's not guaranteed how long that's gonna be, and you know she's fighting with the government on that.
mm-hmm. More than permanent.
I don't have any much
We
more.
we can put the PD grants together, Ryan, and all that, so we got an additional grant this year that we've never gotten before for high visibility for 2,000, so that can go up to 5,000.
What line?
That is
2615A.
2615A.
What?
Was it
It goes up
3?
2, so it's 5.
So put 5, thank you, 5. That's all I have on that.
Okay.
Good? Any
Yeah.
questions?
Nope.
Super.
All right. Jay, do you wanna cover the water?
This is more revenue, right?
The first one, yeah.
So, obviously it's gonna go up a little bit, being that we raised the rates.
So,
Hold on.
Why is it in flat?
right, why is it, if we raise the rates and we implemented a twice a year fee for each
You gotta
water
have
and
the second-
sewer,
You don't get it to second half.
The fee's not gonna go on to this line. The fee, that's gonna be capital improvement line.
which is where?
So that's, either way, it's gonna be a revenue and an expense line, they will be equal.
Mm-hmm.
And so that hasn't been estimated yet, so Ron is giving us those information.
Okay, so that'll be added to the
Nevertheless,
final
we raised
budget.
the rates on
It'll
that
be-
line, why is it not
Right.
increasing?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Nevertheless, we raised the rates, correct?
So-
why did it stay flat?
So you raise rates, so right now, I just got this report this morning, that's why I did not
Okay.
update this, we're waiting for
Then
the
that's
end of
fine.
the year.
If I just mark on
It's
there.
335, right now, the expected revenue is 363.
Okay, that
Okay,
makes more
so
sense.
there's some numbers that will go up on the water. Jake, I hope you don't mind
No, not at all.
on the interest and water, interest, rent, this is careful because this is your penalties. If somebody doesn't pay the water, it's around 10 right now. Last year was at 4, the year before was at 9, so it could be all over the place. I would put this at 9,
Okay.
you know? The rest I would leave alone on the water. Now, do you wanna cover water administration? We know
No,
on,
go ahead.
all right, so
Did you know
first,
more about that end of it than me.
That's fine. So the first few lines is part of Jake's pay, the overtime for water and sewer, which I don't recommend bringing it down. He's actually over at this time. The clerk, we're gonna be COLA for all of these. So that'll be all adjusted all the way down. The mayor's line stays flat, the meter reader stays flat, and then I'll stop there. Jake, 8310 is
Equipment?
water equipment.
I left that flat, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. I left that flat. I think I left everything flat here,
Testing.
other than testing. Unfortunately, testing went way up, and we have 2 tests that we have to do this, at this budget, time. It's, basically groundwater under the influence for Hopewell 6, being that that's a new well that's put online. For the first 2 years, you have to do this quarterly. It's $6,500 a quarter, a test.
So it's not a permanent
It's
expense,
not
it's a, okay.
Yep,
And
we'll
so-
have 2 this year and 1 next year.
So it's, that doesn't even jive with the year-to-date lines because it's
No.
something we've never had to pay for, so we'll be way over, okay.
Correct.
What will it be after that?
And then it should go back, should go back down. I believe we went from,
As long as we have a
a
positive
test was
right?
22 for a total collie, that went to 26. That's a weekly test, 1 week every month, there's 2 that we have to do.
That's what I'm saying, like, as long as they're good tests, if they're coming back bad, then we'll have to continue this process.
Exactly.
Okay.
Be quiet, Cynthia.
Sorry.
She's right.
No, no, no.
Right, so
That's not gonna happen.
that's why I run like that. It's not gonna-
So, and then insurance,
The insurance, we kept it flat on this line because that was a proportion lower, and we have to make sure we keep expenses in par with the revenues that are coming in. So, we didn't increase it here, we increased it on the A line.
so same thing with the next section there, the sources of supply, left all that flat.
The purification.
Purification, obviously chlorine went up, so I had to raise that a little bit to compensate for that. Transmission distribution, kept everything flat there.
8340, 400.
You have a question on that? That's the 69,000.
It was 69 and I kept it 69?
Yep,
Oh,
and you changing it?
Mm-hmm.
I might have,
So what?
hold on.
Randy, if you have it,
35.
this way we could go quicker.
35.
Yep, yeah, sorry. No.
Yep.
Wait, what do we do here?
8340,
I'm probably
400.
just gonna dry out and leave it up, man.
No, I didn't drop it that much, but something's wrong here. I had it at 60.
While you look for that, I'll go to social security benefits. We've had an
Yeah.
increase on average of 8%, so that's where I raised it. That's for water and sewer, we have similar.
Oh, that's right, you're, okay, yes.
You on it, right?
Yeah, yes. I moved different things around, so I'm not, so where I raised other ones, I was able to lower this one, so yes, we're gonna lower this to 35,000.
That's P340-400.
We're good?
That's
Got
water,
one.
the rest should be sewer, correct?
Well, the employees I just went over and the rest of on,
Mm-hmm.
so we're
And
good.
we got
So on the sewer, give me a second.
8130.
On sewer, the updated number as of today is 479,661, which is great news. At 4:15, I'm so happy for that number. 35,000 comes from the airport.
Now we're up 60.
Yes.
So it's money from the airport, it's not money from even our residents, which is nice.
We need more of those deals.
Yeah.
Then we have the penalty, it's 10,000, I kept it flat because like I said earlier, someone's historical, but you know, it changes. Same thing with the 20 increase, that'll be a capital gains improvement repair line for sewer, there's one for water, we'll have a revenue and expense line, and that's what we're waiting for on this time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then similar to what I shared earlier with the people, we'll put it at 2.8 COLA,
For administration on page 22.
yes.
Yep.
And then equipment, did you change anything, Jake? On 200, 400, 420, 430?
For treatment and disposal,
Under administration first, did you have any changes?
I didn't
Okay.
change anything on administration.
And the utilities did go up for that area. That's like for the well, the
Yeah.
sewer wells, right?
Yes,
Okay. And then the next one is treatment and disposal, that's your one.
yep, personal service, obviously that's gonna change now with the 2.8.
No, that's for staff, not for you.
Oh, that's right, that's,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
yours.
sorry,
Nope,
sorry.
I already mentioned that.
But equipment, you wanna go?
Equipment, yes, I did raise, obviously, I need to do some repairs, I need to do some big repairs this year. And chances are, it's gonna go into the next budget year, so I raised that to compensate for, cause I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish the one big repair that I got, cause the part I need is gonna take 12 to 16 weeks to get here.
Like a rotor?
So that rotor, yes.
And the thing,
Which was, I started at 73,000, I got down to 41,000, I believe.
Now, how are you getting that put in?
We will install that.
and you know the $40 2020, he can't use that yet because that just got communicated. You're not gonna see that till a while,
Yeah.
okay? So, just wanna make sure that's.
Keep us in the loop on that too, please.
What's that?
Keep us in the loop on that. please.
Yep.
Or me.
Yeah, I hate emails. Email, no, not you, the girl I've been working with is. So, contractual, obviously I had to raise that a little bit to compensate for everything else increasing, same thing for Maureen.
I had initially put 350 for him, but that was because he wasn't available when I put this in, because I wanted to close it. He lowered it to 300, so that's why you see that change.
Okay.
Testing, same thing, had the testing pretty much doubled, so I doubled it. And then utilities, obviously, utilities keep going up,
I don't go to,
Hmm?
utilities don't ever go to.
and then that's it for me, correct?
That's it, we're done. Next steps, I'll be updating his numbers, speaking with Ron. Probably Monday, we'll have another version. I don't wanna promise tomorrow because I have 20,000 things that I'm doing on the back end.
I have a question about the revenues. Can we ask, can we have Heather clarify now that she's working with New York class, what accounts are eligible to be in the interest-bearing accounts and why the water sewer revenues are not in there generating more money to then use for improvements?
I will tell you, I know she is working on stuff, because she had some questions for me today.
Like, let's get some money. I think we found enough for a truck in there for this year, and I think we should be making interest wherever we can make interest. I'll submit the rest of my follow-up questions via email. Thank you for all the work, everybody.
Thank you guys as well. It's a team effort.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again.
I want to say this much, I want to say thank you, Debbie, Doreen, and the girls in Treasury Department for getting this all together. For doing this, 2 months of sitting there doing this, I appreciate it.